The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping.
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this big Thursday, January 30th, 2025. This program starts now. Football is wonderful, and obviously next week is Super Bowl week, as we will find out if a three-peat is happening or if Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles will win their first Super Bowl since Big Richard Nick Foles led that squad into a wonderful horse poop eating time of Philadelphia. The Chiefs are favored by 1.5 currently. Will that change next week? We will certainly monitor it. The stories are in abundance for this particular one. Patrick Mahomes, is he going to cement himself as the greatest of all time for winning 3 straight? How about Travis Kelce? Is he going to get a notch under his belt? Andy Reid. This man has the most wins for both teams that you're currently looking at, both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Will he continue on his dominant tour with this fantastic squad out of Kansas City? And then on the other side, Saquon Barkley. Can you win with a run-heavy, run-first, offensive line-led team in 2025? Everything says yes, but will they be able to beat the team that refuses to lose, which is the Kansas City Chiefs? We shall see. We'll be live in New Orleans from Radio Row starting next Wednesday all the way through Friday. The guests are already stacking up. The guests' names are pretty big. Woo. I don't want to give anybody away. Dan Marino will be joining us.
What?
Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah, no flubs. Send it. Dan Marino and many, many more will be stopping by. We can't wait to get down there. We also can't wait for this weekend in this beautiful city of Indianapolis, Indiana. The Royal Rumble has invaded Indianapolis, and everybody is here, including Stephanie McMahon, who will be joining us in the second hour live in the Thunderdome.
Wow.
Cannot wait to chit-chat with her. She'll be joining us, and obviously it's an honor to get a chance to call her a friend. Cannot wait for the chat with her about the business, the state of the WWE, her life, and everything else. And then this weekend in Lucas Oil Stadium in front of a record-breaking Royal Rumble crowd, magic will be had, and we will find out who will be punching a ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. There'll be a 30-woman Royal Rumble, a 30-man Royal Rumble, or a ladder match. Battles all over the place, and history will be made right inside of the Loud House, Lucas Oil Stadium. Tomorrow night, Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We kick everything off at 5 p.m. Eastern on Peacock and all the socials. Michael Cole and I will be hosting the Royal Rumble kickoff. Then that goes into the Friday Night SmackDown, which then leads into 6 p.m. Eastern kickoff time of Royal Rumble on Saturday. The city is abuzz. The city is alive. The city is thankful that WWE came here, and it's a great time to be alive. It's not just me here. Obviously, the boys of the Talks the Table are here, at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Royal Rumble time, massive weekend. Everybody has flooded into our gorgeous city.
Yeah, it's the absolute best. And if you've never experienced a Royal Rumble, I really don't know how to describe it because everyone knows WrestleMania is, like the Super Bowl equivalent. But the Royal Rumble, I mean, it's bigger than, like a championship weekend. It's kind of its own thing. There's really nothing in the world of sports that's like it. And even if, you haven't been a WWE fan for a really long time, like if you watched 15 years ago, there's a chance you're going to show up at the Rumble and some of your favorite superstars of the past are going to be there. I couldn't be more excited for this weekend because it really is like, if you read the dirt sheets and all that kind of stuff, you can kind of get an idea of what's going around, like what's going on in the business. You have no idea what's going to happen at this event. You really don't. And a lot of times, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens that night at that time. And people within the WWE don't know. And I think that's why it's one of the best events, not just in the wrestling world, but in the world of sports entertainment.
Literally anybody can show up at the Royal Rumble and has shown up at the Royal Rumble. Stars of yesterday, stars of tomorrow, stars from other promotions show up, and then in the end, one person gets a chance to have their dreams come true and main event WrestleMania. Will this be the year that CM Punk gets to go main event WrestleMania?
Oh. Whoa.
Will he win the Royal Rumble? Will the Second City Saint finally punch his ticket after tearing his tricep from the bone last year in the Royal Rumble? How about John Cena? The final time is now. Drew McIntyre. Obviously, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are participating in a ladder match. It's going to be absolutely absurd. For those that don't know, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is WWE champion. He's in the middle there with the blonde hair. He comes from a royal family of wrestling. The guy next to him, Kevin Owens, there is a Canadian guy. He's a psycho. And he certainly said some things about a lot of people, but having him be a part of a ladder match in Lucas Oil Stadium, people that watch back in the day, remember Jeff Hardy just used to do whatever. Shane McMahon used to jump off of whatever. Kevin Owens is a mix of both of those guys. And I legitimately cannot wait to see what happens and the carnage and the chaos and, who wins this Royal Rumble, both the men and the women, and, who is going to cement themselves as one of the greatest of all time. Winning a Royal Rumble can certainly help do that. Let's go to one half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys, Tone Diggs. There isn't a betting odds, I don't think, on the Royal Rumble. On ESPN Bet or any of the official sites, but there is a bunch of them for the Super Bowl next week. You went through a few of them. Dallas Goedert's over yardage yesterday feels good because the Chiefs have not been able to defend against a tight end, and they give him the ball a lot. Is there any other bets that you've been looking at for the Super Bowl that maybe we should think about snooping around on?
Yeah, a couple tidbits for today. Patrick Mahomes as a favorite of 3 points or less or a dog in the playoffs is 8-0 against the spread and 8-0 straight up, which is not a surprise at all. Andy Reid off of a bye. We've been talking about 23-4. Okay, 23-4. Andy Reid is off of a bye. Technically, with this week off, is technically off of a bye here for Andy Reid in that situation. Those are two heavy stats going in the Chiefs' favor. 7 of the last 7 games, the Eagles have covered their first quarter spread. They're actually plus 1.5 in the first quarter of this Super Bowl. So just a couple of things, a couple of tidbits for today as far as the Super Bowl is concerned.
I love that. Also, some breaking news out of the Philadelphia Eagles camp. Brandon Graham, stud linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, BG, I believe is what they call him, tore his tricep week 12. They have opened his practice window today, so he could potentially be playing in the Super Bowl next weekend. That would be a huge addition to a defense that has been buzzing and flying around. If BG tears his tricep week 12 and plays in the Super Bowl, you're talking legendary shit, folklore shit. I'm pulling for this story to happen, Ty.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that was crazy. I don't know what noise that was.
Speakers.
Okay, yep, looks like we got some tunes going mid.
Man is panicking, sprinting across. The bump box plugged in.
Okay.
Bruce Brown's having a morning. Bruce Brown is having a morning.
Boy, Bruce.
Hey, you're doing it, Bruce. You're A-okay, Bruce. It's all going to get figured out. Bruce is in charge of figuring out all the tickets for the Royal Rumble this weekend. Certainly a lot on his plate. People coming in from out of town. Where are they sitting? Where are we sitting? Who's sitting where? There's booze bags going to be in places. We need to make sure we get it all figured out. Hey, Bruce, you're doing great. Don't ever forget it, Bruce.
Keep going, Bruce.
That's on me. I was worried about that for the last 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, and then it happened, obviously. And just think, the worst thing that could happen has happened, and it's not the terrible end of the world. So don't worry about it. Maybe stress less, Bruce Brown. And also, when Stephanie gets here, make sure you take care of her. Okay, so and her team. Let's make sure we're doing A-okay. Bruce got a lot on his plate right now. A lot of logistical stuff that I don't think he's prepared for.
No.
But certainly 0 for 1 with the bump box. Only way we can go is up from here, Bruce Brown. But it's a beautiful Thursday here, obviously.
It is.
He's
absolutely
great in high-stress situations.
And, he is great in high-stress situations. Everyone says that about Bruce. That's kind of like the 1A of when you're describing Bruce. This guy always performs under pressure. Always does. We love Bruce. But Brandon Graham, this situation, I think, is. I mean, like you said, it's legendary. I think there were talks that this might be his last year regardless.
Yeah.
So if he were to come back, play in the Super Bowl, get a sack, or have, a massive moment, and if they win, to go out on top, like that is a storybook ending. And like you said, like this is the Eagles defense is unbelievable. Getting a guy like him back in just for a play or two, a couple third downs, it's huge.
People remember the stuff like this forever. Remember T.O. came back off of a broken leg to play in the Super Bowl. Thomas Davis with his broken forearm came back to play in the Super Bowl. People love this shit, and they'll talk about it forever if Brandon Graham's able to.
They lost that particular game, Thomas Davis, with the Carolina Panthers, although his forearm looked gnarly, to say the least. Cam Newton was asked this morning about MVP or Super Bowl. Would you give up your MVP for the Super Bowl? He said, no, I wouldn't, but then he gave a full answer about, there's a lot of people that aren't good at football that have won Super Bowls. There's a lot of great players that haven't won a Super Bowl. There's not a lot of bad players that have ever won an MVP. So I think, the way his answer was taken was kind of out of perception, but you win a Super Bowl, you're remembered forever.
Yep.
You win a Super Bowl after tearing your tricep in week 12 and come back, you're remembered as an absolute dog. Not the BG wouldn't be, but that is something that Nick Sirianni prides himself. Speaking of Nick Sirianni, he'll be joining us tomorrow.
Yes.
1:30 Eastern. Yeah, I had Andy Reid on yesterday, very close to the vest, didn't tell us anything.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni, we assume, will be a great conversation tomorrow at 1:30. Cannot wait to catch up with him. How's the team feel? What is the vibes as they travel down to New Orleans? Are they loose? Do they feel like they're the team that's not getting any credit because all the storylines are the dynasty, the dynasty, the dynasty? Also, Jalen Hurts, is he good enough? He's not good enough. Patrick Mahomes, greatest of all time. I assume Sirianni is utilizing all of those things to stack the chips onto his boys' shoulders, and I can't wait to hear him tomorrow, Conman.
Yeah, especially because they just lost to him. Like a lot of these players, although it will be some of their first Super Bowl, like Jalen, they just lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a few years ago. There was that story last year about how Jalen's background on his iPhone was the Chiefs celebrating that victory over them. But I'm pumped for this game. A lot of people saying they're not going to watch it. Those people suck, and they're going to end up watching the game. I think it's going to be a great one. You think about the chips that Saquon Barkley has on his shoulder, let alone, going in as 1.5-point dogs, but just not really being wanted by the Giants, that entire thing, him setting all those records. And then you just think about the vibes, like you mentioned, like Mailata. We showed that clip yesterday of him, pancaking three guys and then, laughing as he's running down the field on the first play against the Commanders, and Saquon took it 60 yards to the house. Like, I think this is going to be a great Super Bowl, definitely better than ones of the past. And who knows, if the Chiefs do win, Pat Riley owns the trademark for three-peat. He's going to make like $1 billion. So I know who he's rooting for.
I think the Chiefs were trying to get ahead of that.
Yeah.
They were trying to get ahead. Like, is it a Chiefs-peat? Is it three Chiefs? What they wanted to get away from the three-peat, I think, because Pat Riley has just raked.
Yeah.
He's just raked in money off the three-peat stuff.
Since the 80s.
Genius move.
Yeah, got the Bulls twice because they went 3 in a row twice. Also had the Yankees in the 2000s when they won the World Series. Made a bunch of money off that, I assume.
Lakers.
Lakers, but that's where it started with him. But if
he gets 5% of every dollar made off of anything that has three-peat on it. Just, hey, great shirts. How much did you sell there? $1 million. Sweet.
Okay.
500,000's coming to old Uncle Pat Riley. Yeah, I'm dealing with a Jimmy Butler situation. Yeah, the Miami Heat might be nowhere near a three-peat at this particular situation, but I am. I am for sure. So go ahead and pay the corner, pal. Who's the corner? That is Pat Riley. Genius business decision. All right, we have some breaking news out of the NFL. Steve Wilks has been hired as the Jets defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Steve Wilks obviously been around the NFL a very long time. Congrats to him getting a gig over there. Aaron Glenn, we assume, will be running the defense, but Steve Wilks also has very, very, very deep resume of being a successful defensive mastermind in the NFL. What if the Jets don't suck? What if the Jets don't suck? Isn't that crazy to think about? I like Aaron Glenn. I like the way Aaron Glenn has handled himself. I like the way he didn't bow down to the Jets media, too. I think he understands the situation over there. He got Woody Johnson to say, maybe I haven't been the best owner. Maybe the Jets are turning the corner. Or is this what we always do with the Jets anytime there's a little bit of change?
Yeah, Jets are the Jets. And still, we just watched them. It is the Bills division going forward. And all eyes kind of turn to Aaron Rodgers because that is the biggest question mark when it comes to the Jets. But what do you think about the Aaron Glenn saying that he's he's not going to be calling plays, that, he is kind of passing it off. Is this one of those moves you bring in a vet like Steve Wilks?
I think that's why Steve Wilks gets the gig. I think obviously Aaron Glenn will be a big piece of what we're doing in strategy. But if you call the plays as the head coach and then you stink, and then it's, you give it up, that's not good. Somebody else calls plays, they stink, then you can take it over. That's like a very good move, I think, logistically, just for the future. Not saying Steve Wilks will stink. He has not stunk in the past. That's why he is who he is. He's been in the NFL a very long time. Great hire, I think, in my eyes, for the Jets. But it's hard to be the head coach, stink as a play caller, then give up the reins, kind of lose legitimacy. Somebody else doing it, if they stink, you picking it back up, always a good move. Mike McCarthy down in Dallas was doing something similar.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson down in Jacksonville was doing something similar. I think this is the right move, and also Aaron Glenn knows he's a leader of men right now, not just a leader of the defense. I like the move by Aaron Glenn.
But I think the OC thing is the more interesting thing, right? Because that kind of stems with everything that they're going to do with Rodgers. Obviously, they need a quarterback of the future. Rodgers isn't going to be there for the next 5 to 10 years, but they need to hire a guy that Rodgers gets along with, who runs a similar kind. They're not going to bring in a guy and then make Rodgers learn a completely. You wouldn't think they would.
Yeah, I don't know.
They might, but you'd think he's going to want a guy who kind of runs that primary, like, West Coast offense, that he's used to. So we'll see. Like, that, it's kind of all eyes on that. And I guess that starts with, are you going to bring Rodgers back or not?
And does Rodgers want to play? There's so many things, and who knows what the deadline is. We have not reached out to Aaron Rodgers or Glenn to get an answer on that. I don't think that would be right for us to do, especially because we talk into microphones. But I think Aaron Glenn said that there has been texts exchanged with Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers, from what we know, has great respect for Aaron Glenn. I assume Aaron Glenn has the same exact thing for Aaron Rodgers. A lot of decisions have to be made on that front before it happens, but I don't think the Jets are going to be picking an offense coordinator around Aaron Rodgers. Personally, I don't think. Because I believe if he comes back, the plan is going to be to get a young guy,
for sure,
have him watch Aaron, and then hopefully hand off the reins for the future.
I wouldn't think so either. I don't think you want to hire your future OC based off of potential maybe 1 year with Aaron, and just kind of put your whole future into that. But what I like with the Wilks hire, and what I like with all these first-time head coaching hires, is when they get a DC or an OC or someone on their staff that has been a head coach before. Now, Wilks was a interim head coach with the Panthers, but he did a great job with that Panthers team. It was so good that all the players wanted him and the Carolina Panthers to hire him. They did not do that, but like a guy with head coaching experience and running a team with a first-time head coach, I think is always a good idea.
I think so too. More news. Matthew Stafford will be playing next year. Congratulations to Matthew Stafford making the decision to run it back. He looked great this year at the end. There was a lot of moments where we thought the Rams could go on and win the whole damn thing somehow out of nowhere. Very young defense. Obviously, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams and that offensive line that figured out how to block, because they were a crew that was getting kind of buried early in the year and last year. Matthew Stafford decided to come back. Good for him. Good for Matthew Stafford. I love that one of the old guard is still kind of doing it. And Les Snead talked about it, actually, and here's what he had to say.
Number one, could you see a scenario where you would trade Stafford? And if you did, do you think that's something that you guys would try to do quickly as opposed to dragging it out?
Yeah, it's on that one. I think Matthew probably disturbed our rejuvenation period, because I think we did play in the division round that year, and then maybe a week later is when it leaked that, hey, he would like to be traded. The Lions were thinking of trading, so we had to get back to work a little bit quicker than we wanted to. But I haven't on trades, Gary, too. That's one thing too. It'll take someone calling or us reaching out if we want to do. That's the things that'll be determined down the road here.
Okay, yeah, we have no idea what's going to happen. There's a lot that has to get figured out. Les Snead has done a great job building that roster. Remember, they go all in. They go all in to win that Super Bowl in Los Angeles. They do. They did. Then what are you going to do on the other side? You kick the can down the road, Inevitably, that can is not going to have any more road to get kicked down. It's going to be staring you right in your dumb face. They did that. They were able to adjust. They got great usage out of their draft picks, even though they didn't have a lot of draft picks. Remember, his entire thing was fuck them draft picks. Now he's got young guys in very important positions. He's able to manage the roster, and Matthew Stafford coming back. Look out for the Los Angeles Rams out there in a battle for LA as the Chargers also on an upswing. Good for both of them.
Yeah, awesome, man. With the Rams, like you mentioned it, I think earlier in the week, they were one of those teams early on in the season where it's like, hey, they might trade everybody they have. Cooper Kupp was hurt, and they were talking about him being a guy who's going to get moved. And then when they beat the Vikings on that, last second kind of controversial face mask on Sam Darnold is when their whole entire season turned around. And, they have so much young talent. Like, why would Stafford, want to get out of there? He's kind of rumored to get traded, it feels like, every year, whether that's some sort of contract negotiation or something along those lines. But when it comes to Les Snead, basically everything that he does, I feel like now is, hey, probably the right move just because of them winning the Super Bowl and them being able to turn it, around so quickly.
And Sean McVay.
Yeah.
I think we have faith in Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Already a Super Bowl champ, so he's already cemented as a guy that can get it done. So damn young, and literally Liam Cohen just gets a gig. His coaching tree is starting to become bigger than a lot of the greats that have ever been around there.
It might be already one of the biggest coaching trees of all time. I mean, like literally, if we talked about it a couple years, like a cup of coffee with McVay get you a head coaching job, and I feel like that may have died down for a year or two, but we are fully back into it. Probably 12 teams, 13 teams is basically from his coaching tree.
Also, Raiders are bringing back Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator. Congrats to Patrick Graham. Congrats to the Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby spoke to Jim Gray about Pete Carroll, just said his energy is the one thing that he has realized. Joining us now is a man who has deep history with the Raiders. He's currently the general manager of the University of North Carolina Tar Heel football team. Friend of the program, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Hey, how we doing?
I
love Chuck. I love that Chuck gave you the donuts. You got to love Chuck. You can't, what a great guy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm pretty excited that Chuck isn't going to be bringing in 50,000 calories every single Thursday, but we will miss his presence, as we will miss, obviously, you as you continue to work on your UNC GM job. Let's talk about the Raiders here, though. Obviously, you have deep history and love for that particular franchise. You like the Pete Carroll hire? You like Pete Carroll becoming their guy? And what do you think he brings to the Raiders that maybe they haven't had for a while?
Well, I think sometimes these owners need to buy credibility, right? Because they've made so many mistakes along the way that they have to buy somebody who brings them credibility in the building. And Pete Carroll, who will, whatever people want to say outside the NFL and in the media, Pete Carroll has had an NFL Hall of Fame coaching career. If you just look at what he's been able to accomplish in Seattle, the winning that he did there, going to 2 Super Bowls, winning 1, he gets his team into the playoffs. I think, to me, the Raiders bought credibility. They needed it. And they needed somebody who's going to give them some competitive nature within the framework of how they're going to play. I think it's a great hire. He's a young 73. He's got incredible energy. I think he'll be able to walk in front of that team and get in front of them and have the ability to say, fellas, if you want to win a Super Bowl, this is what you have to do. And look, when they went out there with John Schneider, when they started in Seattle, when he left to go from SC there, they were not a good team in Seattle. And between him and John Schneider working together, they rebuilt that team with a great defensive front. Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, all those great players up front that they had. And that's why they were able to win Super Bowls in terms of they were dominating in their scheme.
What do you think he did this entire last year, Pete Carroll? We didn't hear much from him. He was hanging out with Washington and you guys up there for a little bit, I think, with the Huskies. Was there anything else?
Teaching at USC.
Yeah, he had he's a professor for a bit. Because we know Bill traveled around to a lot of different colleges to kind of see how it is. Chuck has remained dialed in throughout, literally since he retired. We assume Pete stayed with the game, stayed in the game. Yep. How do you think he spent this past year? And what do you think has either helped him become a head coach again, or do you think he's just going to pick up where he left off?
I think the year off always helps somebody, especially it refreshes you, recharges you. Plus, you go through that period of, wait a minute, somebody didn't want me. I feel like I have a lot still to prove. And when you've got a career like Pete's had, where he's won a national championship in college, won a Super Bowl, I think you want to go out there and go out on your own terms. I think Pete wanted to stay in Seattle. The organization made a decision to move on, and I think he wants to prove it was a wrong decision. So when you're out of football, I think you're constantly constantly evaluating what can I do better in the next job I get? What do I need to improve on? Where were the mistakes I've made? You do this ongoing autopsy of your career, and I think you have to do it every year, whether you've been fired or not. It's the only way you can improve. I mean, after a year here at North Carolina, we're going to go through an extensive understanding of what we did well, what we didn't do well. We've done it after the portal. We'll do it after recruiting, because the only way you get better is to learn from your mistakes. And I think Pete's one of those people who's very curious. You know, he listens to a lot of leadership podcasts. I know that. So I'm sure he's ready to take it up another level.
Yeah, we can't wait to watch Pete back there with the Raiders. And once again, we all feel the same way as I believe you do. The NFL is better whenever the Raiders are rolling, especially with a city like Las Vegas, who's never had a great NFL team until maybe next year. Let's go down to Duval. Ty has a question for you.
Lombo, what do you think about Jacksonville hiring Liam Cohn? We've seen all the stuff come out. Obviously, he's getting killed for saying Duval in his press conference and not really knowing the cadence. And then all the stuff's coming out from Tampa about him pissing off the front office and a lot of coaches with the way he left there. He only has 5 years of NFL coaching experience, but he's, well respected coming from McVay's tree. Do you think they made the right hire, and is he ultimately a guy who's going to be able to turn around Jacksonville?
I think it's a really hard job. They're not going to play at home for the next 2 years, so you've got a lot of obstacles that you're not in control of. I think one of the things you have to do in Jacksonville is change the culture. You've got to convince people down there that you know how to win. I think there was a team that needed to buy credibility more than anything, and I hope Liam can do that. But as a young coach with 5 years, he's going to have to win people over at every single staff meeting, every single team meeting, and show that, look, we can win this thing. The Bucs lost a playoff game, so he doesn't come in there with the stature of saying, hey, follow me, guys, I know how to win Super Bowls. He's going to have to show that they can win. I think Jacksonville has that losing mentality that they're going to have to erase, because it just naturally flows. Something bad happens, it's going to continue. I think he's got a challenging leadership job ahead of him. I don't know who's going to help him, whether they stay with the interim general manager or they find someone outside. But I think it's a huge job. I really do. I think he's got a lot ahead of him, because becoming a head coach at any level is hard. Becoming a first-time head coach at a job that's challenging is going to really tax him. I don't think he even remotely understands the terrain that lies ahead of him.
Yeah, and, you can be a goober in your opening press conference. We've seen that before and end up working out. We've seen it end up not working out. We would like to reserve judgment on any of these coaches. Can you really tell if a guy's going to suck as a head coach? You have no idea, right, if a first-time head coach is going to be good or not, right?
No, I think you need to, look, to me, I think you need to see their leadership skills immediately. Are they how they hire coaches? Are they going to hire their friends, or are they going to hire the best person for the staff? That's the first look at what you're dealing with. Are they going to be head coaches, or are they going to be subcontractors? I know Liam said he's going to call plays. That's great. But is he going to be involved with the defense? Everybody wants Jacksonville to fix Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville's lost so much, they need to fix their franchise. Right? It's like us coming here in North Carolina and said all we have to do is fix the quarterback. No, we've got to fix everything if we want to get to the next level. And I think that's Liam's challenge, too. You've got to be able to work in all areas as a head coach, or else the rest of the organization feels like you're not paying as close attention to him. So he's got a challenging job, and I hope they give him a support system to help, because these young coaches are out there on an island. I think after you've been fired from your first time as a head coach, you realize, I'm sure if you talk to Robert Saleh today, he would say, wow, there's so much I didn't know that I know now.
Yeah, and Robert Saleh back as the defense coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. We assume his name will be up for another head coaching gig at some point, and that second time around has been very good for a lot of people. Head coach is not easy. Not easy at all. He won't even remember that Duval in about 2 weeks, because the amount of shit that's going to come across his desk. We're pulling for him. Legit. We would like everybody to have great success. Hopefully he's able to do it. You bringing up the point about not having a home game in 2 years is a very good one, too, because they're doing stadium renovation, right? Aren't they rebuilding a full stadium? Okay. Yeah. So that's a task in of itself, having to manage that, because that's more distractions. Anything that is a distraction from winning is going to be tough to navigate. Hopefully Liam's able to do that. There is a chance he doesn't, though. A lot of coaches end up stinking in the NFL. We hope he's not one of them. Connor has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, different kind of situation in Cincinnati. Duke Tobin came out and he kind of talked about how Jamar Chase is obviously a priority as far as a contract goes, but then you think about, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson. He said, look, hey, we can't be paying, top dollar at multiple positions around the league. The exact one was we can't have guys at the top of the payroll in every position, right? How do you think they go about assembling their team, and how do teams not fall into this kind of category like the Cowboys are in now and seemingly the Bengals are in, where you're paying three guys, 50% of your cap, but you kind of have to hold on to those guys because of how productive they are?
Yeah, well, you want to hold on to them. You just got to draft really well. I mean, the Rams got away with it. I know I listened to what Les said before I came on, and Les has done a great job of rebuilding that defensive front with the draft. And to me, if you're Duke Tobin, you've got to say, I've got to sign Hendrickson. He's my best pass rusher. He gives me a presence on defense. I love to sign T. Higgins, but unless I can get T for the right deal, I'm going to have to draft somebody. I'm going to have to find, again, it's the same thing whether you're in pro football or college football. They're replaceable parts and they're non-replaceable parts. And I think when you're talking about a great pass rusher like Hendrickson, they're hard to find. They just don't come walking down the street. You got to pay him. And you're going to have to pay him. You can never overpay for great, but what happens is when you start overpaying for good, you get in trouble. And I think that's something that Cincinnati can't do. Look, the offensive line has been a mess. Their defense hasn't been very good because of the way they practice and because of the way they don't really demand physicality. Look, the reality of it is teams that can't run the ball don't play good run defense. I mean, that's just a fact. Look, the Rams, one of the areas they have to improve on is their running game. They were 31st in the National Football League in yards per attempt. And guess what? Their defense was 26th in allowing yards per attempt. Those two things have to go together. And Cincy never puts those two together. I think it's one of the hardest defensive coordinator jobs in football because of the way they approach offensive football in Cincinnati. They never run it. They really don't manage the game correctly. They just want to score. And all of a sudden, they're in a scoring duel and they end up losing. So Duke's got a challenge, but he's going to have to draft really well.
Okay, so let's stick with the Cincinnati Bengals and T. Higgins situation. You think he's going to be okay without Jamar Chase? Obviously, there was a lot of games where Jamar was not playing. Obviously, there was games without Joe Burrow playing and everything like that. You think he's going to be able to become a true number one somewhere if it's not in Cincinnati?
I think he can be. I think they're going to have to move him around. I think he is certainly a dynamic player. And I think if he goes to the right team where he is, let's call him a one, where he also has inside slot receiver or a tight end, then I think he becomes a player. Because remember, when you have Chase on the field, everybody's rolling the coverage or trying to double him some way. Now, they did a good job in Cincinnati this year, motioning him, keeping him away from double teams. But I think T's really talented, and I think T can go somewhere and be a really good player. You put T. Higgins on a team like the 49ers, my Lord, he could end up shining because they've got other players around him, and then he looks really good. But Brandon Ayuk would be even better with someone like T or Debo or someone there. So, yeah, I think and here's the problem that Duke has. Duke's not going to be able to pay what other teams are going to pay because people are going to overpay for T. Higgins in the sense that they need him.
Yeah, got the Patriots over here saying, give them to me.
A lot of cap space.
Right.
You're talking about overpaying.
You got the Packers here saying, give them to me.
Yep.
And then people in Indianapolis, fans of the Colts, they're saying, he'd be great here, especially because we got Pittman already on one side, Alec on the other side. T would be great to open up the entire offense. I assume there's a lot of teams that are envisioning potential T. Higgins on their offense, making them better. And anytime that happens, all you need is two to really drive up a price. If there's more than that, you're talking, congrats to T.
Yeah.
Congrats. You've earned it, brother.
Welcome to New England, T.
And also, all the mic'd up segments I've seen from T, beloved by his teammates. Like, absolutely beloved by his teammates. And him not being the number one guy, I think there's a sense of humility that comes with that. I think there's a sense of work that comes with that. I think he is a prized possession of this particular free agency.
And before the season, there was that entire video he released of him from his car knowing, like, hey, this is probably my last year in Cincinnati, but still going out there and playing and not causing any problems.
And his mom came out and was like, he's going to do what's right. He's going to go do this entire thing. I mean, he is a guy that could potentially change your offensive franchise. We shall see how.
Yeah, and I think what people lose sight of too here, Pat, is since he's not a tax-free state, so Duke's not going to be able to match the deal that someone else puts out there. And because he's not in it, whereas if he were in, say, Houston could get close because of the tax implications. Don't ever think that that's not a big factor in these deals, because it is. You go to Massachusetts, he's going to pay a hefty sum. The Patriots are going to have to pay way more than, say, the Raiders did if they sign him.
You're talking about Massachusetts?
Well,
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that is what he's talking about. But
or any of those states, right? Any of those, you're just. I mean, that's just the cost of doing business. You're going to have to deal with it
without representation up there in Massachusetts. Now the place is known as Massachusetts.
Whoa! There's representation.
That's why the Tea Party was there, Connor. I mean, I don't want to disrupt you, Connor. I understand you want him there. I know.
No, Lombo, you get it. And that tea is still at the bottom of that harbor. Don't you forget it, brother. But I mean, that's happened these last 2 years though with Ayuk and Calvin Ridley. That was a conversation, and they did overpay and overshoot everyone else because of tax.
And how did it work out?
We don't need to talk about that. Drake May is the
okay,
quarterback.
All right. Okay, Pro Bowler.
That was before Drake May was a Pro Bowler.
He's a
now
Pro
we got a Pro Bowl quarterback.
All right, let's move away from the NFL. Let's go to trying to get into the NFL. AP Tone has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, one of those reasons why T is, coveted so much is because it's not the wide receivers in this upcoming class aren't like the ones that we've had in the past few classes, they say right now. But right now on my timeline, it's all Shrine Game, it's all Senior Bowl, it's all highlights from that stuff. Where do the Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl, where does this rank in the process of the draft process and for guys like you, for GMs, for scouts and stuff like that?
I wish Chuck was still here today, because we could reminisce about watching the Senior Bowl 12,000 times with Al Davis. I mean, that's all we watched. And people say, well, why did you watch one game all the time? We would watch practices and we would watch the game, because college football is about level of competition. That's really what it's about. And the Senior Bowl, historically, going back to my first year in 1984 when Bruce Smith played in the game and Jerry Rice played in the game and some great players played in the Senior Bowl, is you get good on good. You don't have to worry about who we playing, who's the guy across from them, who they blocking, who's the corner. And so the Senior Bowl tape for scouts and organization is a valuable tool. The other value that goes into the game is, can players improve their way from Monday when they start practice till Saturday when the ball gets kicked in the air? Are they improving using NFL techniques and fundamentals? And it's different there than in college. So I think it's huge for every player to go in there. If I were a quarterback and I represented a quarterback from college, I want my player to play in the Senior Bowl, because there's no blitzing. It's either cover three or one man. At the middle of the field is always going to be closed, and you're not getting blitzed. And if you can't succeed in that offensively, then you've got no chance to play in the NFL.
They're saying Tez is really showcasing well out there at Oregon. He's a great returner as well if you need him. Quick as a hiccup, absolute stud, getting a chance to take on corners. One-on-ones, obviously, something that's going to be watched very closely for wide receivers and corners. A few snaps ago, we saw Mike Green out of Marshall led the FBS in sacks, just deboing a guy from Ole Miss, I believe. No, Oregon. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oregon tackle. He's never going to get the chance to play against Oregon tackle as the Marshall Thundering Herd. So whenever he runs somebody over like that, obviously he's going to open scouts' eyes as a Senior Bowl Hall of Famer.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
As a Senior Bowl Hall of Famer, I will say it was an honor to get a chance to meet everybody down there. What's happening in the lobby and the handshaking is an extension of the combine, is what they're saying. The meet and greet, the face-to-face time, and seeing people is a big deal, right, down there?
No question. And you get to see them in an environment. And the best time to really spend time in Mobile is when everybody goes home. Today's Thursday. Most of the NFL teams will go home. And if you stay for Friday and then you stay for the game, you really get more time with the kids, because most teams have gone home from their week. And I think it really gives you a chance to see. Plus, you want to see how the kids behave and prepare for the game. I think that's really important. You know, you want to watch games on players. We spend too much time watching highlights. You know, you should watch a quarterback. Look, when you're watching a quarterback play in high school, I don't want to watch all the throws he makes. I want to watch what happens after he gets sacked. I want to watch what happens after, he has a bad play. I want to see the next play. That's never on the highlight tape. And when you're down there at the Senior Bowl and you're watching games or the full game, you see that.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time down there. Wasn't able to do much, because there's only one field. Mm-hmm. So kickers, punters, you don't really get a lot of opportunity. Thomas Morse.
But, Pat, people saw you boom the ball, though. That's really, and they could see that. And this way you didn't have to work. All what you want to do at the Senior Bowl is put put the question, man, we need to do more work on that guy, or we need to spend more time with that guy. And then all of a sudden that momentum will build, because what's happened is they don't really have a great look at you through college because now they see you live. Live is always better than watching tape.
I think they got a chance to hear it, the ball come off by foot. I legitimately think that was what the difference. I think they got a chance to hear it and like, oh, shit, wait a second, this guy's got something.
I think that's a great point because it's like a golf shot. I mean, how many times when you see them hit that golf ball the way it sounds?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with you. Punters, great punters have a different sound than average punters.
Bingo. Like if I was to go to the Combine, which I think I'm going to be down there for the specialist this particular year, I'm going to get a chance. And I wasn't invited to the Combine. I was invited to the Senior Bowl as a kicker, but I was punting and kicking at the practices before the practices. It's like you can tell by the sound, I think. Like for me, anytime I went to a kicking camp, and this is no offense to anybody that I was at the camp with, and Thomas Morstead, who's still punting in the NFL, was at some of those camps. It's like you can just hear the difference. There's levels to this entire thing. At the Combine, if I was to be scouting somebody, it'd be like, I want to hear who's out there first, and then once I hear it, let's go see if their form is worth a shit at all. And if they can pound it and boom it, and their form's okay, this is probably going to be a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to figure out mentally if there's somebody. All the other positions, there's certain things you're looking for. Like I think they want to see the ash of some of those DNs and some of those offensive linemen, but then the sound too of the thud that these guys are bringing, I think is a big deal, which is why boots on the ground is so damn important. I enjoyed my time down in Mobile. Absolutely enjoyed it. Most of the practices though, I was just making like one-handed catches. Just trying to showcase my athleticism on the sideline. Like, hey, I could throw this thing 70 yards if I had to. Like, anything to try to make myself look like I was a little bit more of an athlete. But congrats to all the guys that get invited to the Senior Bowl. And also, congrats to the Shrine Bowl people. No offense.
Yeah.
Because Nagy puts out a tweet that says, like, all right, scouts, recalibrate your eyes. It's time for the Senior Bowl. And the Shrine Bowl guy got all offended. It was like, I don't think he was talking shit. I guess you could take it as shit talk. I think he was just saying, like, recalibrate your eyes, like there's a whole new batch of people. But the Shrine Bowl guy was like, you don't have to bury us to put yourself in. It's like, whoa. It's all good. We're all scouting. We're all trying to get guys into the NFL. The Senior Bowl, though, has been the thing for the longest. Let's talk about the Super Bowl now, Lombo. We're over a week away, obviously, and there's some storylines developing. Nothing will really start cooking until next week. Today, Brandon Graham got announced his practice window has been open after tearing his tricep in week 12. That is certainly something. Everything else is just seemingly Chiefs versus Eagles. Two different styles here. Eagles are a 1990s football team. They're going to pound the rock. They got the most explosive player on the field in Saquon Barkley whenever he has it. And then the Chiefs just win. They're coming off their best offensive performance by far of the entire season. How are you looking at this as we're about a week away? And what should we be thinking about as we talk about it?
Well, I think we should spend a lot of time thinking about Andy Reid going against Vic Fangio. And there's a lot of examples of that when he was in Denver. He's the head coach of the Denver Broncos. So you got a lot of tape to watch. I think Andy Reid has spent most of his week this week watching Denver Broncos versus the Kansas City Chiefs. What will Vic Fangio try to take away? I understand the Chiefs' offense is different, but Vic has a certain style that he wants to play. And I think Andy will study those 4 games or 6 games, how many they were in Vic's tenure. I think he was there for 3 years. His tenure in Denver will really be the providing the launch pin for what the game plan will be for Andy Reid as he goes forward, because he's got the tape and he'll see from game 1 to game 4 how he wanted to play him. And look, this Chief team, forget about all the nonsense about the officials and all that. They just know how to win, right? They know what it takes to play. And they knew they needed to score more points. They revved up their offense last week, and then they were able to make the plays that they needed to win the game. And it's the same thing with Philadelphia. I mean, Philly, was probably anticipating playing Detroit, and Washington took care of that, so they were able to get in this game, and they let Jalen Hurts kind of take over a little bit and wear the Washington Commanders down. So I think it's a great game. But I think both teams are peaking at the right time. There's no question.
I think so, too. We're in for a great one. I'm excited for it. Lombo, we can't thank you enough for making time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
What are we doing right now? We're still scouting? We're recruiting?
We got a couple more days on the road, and we're going to keep hammering those young men out there that want to play professional and come see our school.
Wow.
Getting visits lined up, Pat. We got a long way to go. That we're working on a lot of things, so it'll be fun. It's great.
Realistic expectations of next year. Have you guys put that out there yet or no? Or are we trying to win it all? all the time.
I think we're just, we're going to stick with the Belichick mantra. I'm just trying to get better today. That's all I'm worried about. I got to get a little bit better today. If I do that, I'll be good.
You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen,
thanks, guys.
Multiple-time Super Bowl champion Lombardi. We'll be joined by Vanderfield Yates here in a matter of moments. He's live down at the Senior Bowl. Can't wait to get his kind of takeaway on everything. Lombo's just like 4,000 miles an hour all the time.
Oh, he's the best in the biz.
He's got an answer for everything.
He does.
Never has said, I haven't thought about that. Legitimately.
Ever.
He has thought about everything.
Yep.
All the time. Vic Fangio versus Andy Reid, that's a beautiful thing. You were holding up 7. What's that?
6. So they played 6 times when he was with the Broncos, 2 times when he was with the Dolphins, I believe. And I think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are 8-0 against Vic Fangio, if I
Oh, yeah, that was a stat that hit the internet last night.
Yep.
I forget who tweeted it. Somebody said, not for nothing, Patrick Mahomes pretty good against Vic Fangio in this entire thing. Now, this defense with Vic Fangio, a little bit different than the defenses that Vic Fangio has had in the past.
It is 100%. I mean, the playmakers that he has with the Eagles is much different. Also, Patrick Mahomes is good against a lot of people.
Well, and also Jalen Carter.
Bingo.
Yeah.
A little different animal.
It's a little new. They also have 2 rookie cornerbacks, too. So it's not as if they've been in the league for very long.
Jalen, just knowing it's the last game, not that he ever saves anything. Okay, I'm not saying he plays like 98% of the snaps. It's absolutely unbelievable, especially with what was being said about him whenever he came in. This guy's a workhorse, actual workhorse. Dog, can't wait to talk to Nick Sirianni about him tomorrow. But there is an obvious difference in plays when he's trying. Like whenever he decides, I'm going to beat you on this play. He comes out of his three-point stance, and you just see every person that he just presses them, and then it's a swipe, and then he's in the backfield chaos completely. Patrick Mahomes has done well with that, though. That is, Patrick Mahomes has done very well with that throughout the back. Are they not going to do that? Are they just going to try to keep Patrick Mahomes in the pocket? Because that is when Patrick Mahomes allegedly is not at his best. When he's extending plays, making the Mahomes magic is when Mahomes is Mahomes. I'll be interested to see what Vic Fangio tries to do, but you can't overthink it either. You got to be yourself.
Yeah.
Fascinating game of chess, especially with 2 weeks to prepare for it. It's like, do we do too much? Do we do our shit? Do we change? Do we not? There's so much going on behind the scenes right now. That's why whenever we get to the game, it's exciting to watch that first drive.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can tell what they're declaring they're going to be doing, and that's why the first 15 is so important.
Yeah, and you kind of saw it against Jaden Daniels, too. Like, if, Jalen Carter is pushing the pocket crazy and Mahomes does have to escape, like, Nolan Smith runs a 4-3. So, like, that he can run in space as well. So, it is – I mean, this is a great matchup. I truly cannot wait for the Super Bowl. I can't believe the thought that you're not going to watch is even out there for some
That's over. I think that kind of passed.
I hope so.
Joining us now live from the Senior Bowl is a man who has obviously been in scouting departments in the NFL before. He's a fantasy football guru for ESPN, friend of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanderfield Yates.
Yay!
Wow!
The hair, not bad, right?
You look so
cool.
cool.
Pat. Can I say, can the glasses stay on or no?
Yes, you can do whatever the hell you need to do, buddy. This is maybe the coolest looking dude that's ever been on our show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Field. Jeez Louise. How's the weather? How's the weather down there? It's cold everywhere. It looks like it's okay in Mobile.
70 degrees for the past 3 days. It's unbelievable. And, listen, I'm a Northeast guy. I live in Connecticut full time. I haven't had anything other than like a hoodie for 3 straight months on. So this is tremendous. I am soaking up every last bit of sun before the Senior Bowl practices include in a couple hours.
Okay, as you should. We're happy for you. We'll try to embrace the 70-degree weather via osmosis here. What has been the big thing that has stuck out down there? I know there's been a lot of heat on Jalen Milroe, maybe not performing that great. Mike Green there out of Marshall, obviously. Debo and the Oregon tackle in one-on-ones has been a story. Tej Johnson, Oregon wide receiver, has been stealing some headlines. What are the storylines of this year's Senior Bowl, you think, Vanderfield?
Yeah, you're on it right there with a lot of those. I'd say that one of the cool things for this year is this is the first real full year we've had in which juniors were allowed to participate in their Senior Bowl. So I think there's a chance that the top-end talent from this class, by the time it's all said and done in April, ends up being about as good as you've seen from the Senior Bowl. That really has been one of the big themes this week. But at the top of the board, you mentioned some of the guys that have made their biggest marks. There's a good crew of pass rushers here this week. Mike Green, you mentioned, who went viral yesterday for decleating Josh Connerly, who, by the way, himself, I think is going to go in the first 15 to 20 picks out of Oregon. Donovan Ezaraku from Boston College, other name, that had such a good first couple of days that he is now no longer at the Senior Bowl. Kind of guys that are doing exactly what they need to do to prove to NFL teams that the perception of those players coming into the week was accurate. And I think the quarterbacks are always going to be one of the big storylines. In this second practice, we'll have Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart, two SEC quarterbacks who go about their business in very different ways. I think we've kind of seen with Jalen Milroe sort of the peaks and the pits for this player, right? The very good of Jalen Milroe, the guy who had 20 rushing touchdowns last season. I think if he runs during the pre-draft process, it's going to be a sub-4.40 time, which that's obviously uncoachable. But as far as his consistency as a passer, that's going to be something he has to prove to NFL GMs that he can do at a high enough level to be a sustained starter in the league.
Okay, so obviously I hate doing this because we have no idea what the projections are going to be, but Jalen Milroe with the ball in his hand, special. Throughout all of his career at Alabama, when he would decide to tuck it, he was the fastest guy on the field. He had great toughness. He had great vision. Is there any conversations about him potentially taking some reps at different positions, or are we all in on quarterback Jalen Milroe still?
Yeah, we're all in on quarterback for Jalen Milroe. And I think these players, they deserve it. I understand why people ask these questions. It's a natural one to ask, but he might be as fast as any running back that he is on the same field with this afternoon. It's all been quarterback focused for Jalen. And, the tricky part about Jalen is that it's not that he is incapable of making specific types of throws. He's not the best rhythm passer yet. It's just he doesn't do it frequently enough. There was a throw on the first day of practice here that I thought was maybe the best that we saw from any quarterback on the field. It was a dart to a wide receiver, Jalen Royals from Utah State. And then it was like the next rep, Jalen Milroe has a ball that lands in the dirt at the feet of a wide receiver. And you're saying to yourself, if you could just do the first half of what we saw at a much more consistent level, there'd be no question that you would be in the first round conversation. He's a really unique player. I do think that whatever team takes him, hopefully we've learned our lesson from some of these quarterbacks that have come into the NFL young, and Jalen is a true junior, so he's a younger prospect. That I know that we have guys that come in and make their mark like Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix this past year, but those guys are much more the exception than the rule, and development's going to be a massive theme for what Jalen Milroe's early career looks like.
Special talent. And also beloved by his people down there in Alabama. Great personality, great leader. And we saw the viral video, not the one in the dirt, of him overshooting somebody by like 15 yards maybe. And they said his hand size wasn't as big as maybe they're looking for. They're always going to cut you down. Good luck down there, Jalen. We're pulling for you. Conman has a question for you, Field.
Yeah, Vanderfield, down there, does there seem to be one position group that's kind of the most stacked when you're just looking at it? And do you think because of that, will some of the top players in that position maybe drop a little because of how stacked, D tackles or tight ends might be this year?
Yeah, I kind of feel like you've got two draft class jam-packed into one at running back, defensive tackle, and tight end as well. This running back class is so deep. We know that Ashton Jeanty is going to be the first one taken out of Boise State and deserving, I would say he's a top 8 prospect in my book. I just don't know where he'll go because we know that the NFL values running backs in a different way than how the top 100 of your respective favorite draft analyst board looks. He's terrific, but you've got a bunch of other guys that you might see them fall into the third round just because of supply and demand that look like guys that could start. Trevor Etienne, who finished up his career at Georgia, is about to practice here in just a few minutes. I thought he's looked excellent the past couple of days. No surprise, the younger brother of Travis, who's also a big factor in the passing game, or has been for Jacksonville. Trevor, easy pass-catching skills, that much is for sure. But we've seen guys that come in all different shapes and sizes, too, like Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State. Long, he was a Doak Walker finalist in 2023 for the best running back in college football. He had over 1,700 rushing yards 2 seasons ago. Wasn't as dominant this year. But I'm just telling you, you walk past the guy, and if you told me he was actually like the starting defensive end for Oklahoma State, I'd buy it. He is absolutely massive. So how these guys end up falling off the board beyond Ashton Jeanty and a couple others, I think they're really going to come down to what exactly is your team prioritizing, because you've got guys that can catch the ball at a high level. You got guys that can run for power. You got guys that can do a little bit of both. But this running back class is ridiculously stacked.
Can't wait to watch how it all unfolds on draft night. Obviously, we'll be keeping up with Vanderfield until then. Tone has a question for you, Field.
Yeah, Field, I do. And you talked about the running backs. I was looking at the tight ends as well. I mean, Tyler Warren's not there. Colston Loveland's not there. But I saw Harold Fannin has been dominating. The tight end out of Miami, Arroyo, I believe his name, has been dominating. Is this one of the best tight end classes in a few years as well?
It really is. Elijah Arroyo, 6'4", 251 pounds. He averaged nearly 17 yards per catch, which for a tight end is just ridiculous. And you watch him out there athletically. He had a catch in the end zone today in which he he jumped high. I certainly couldn't jump as high as he did, but it looked like he barely efforted to do so. And just a reminder of how physically gifted he is. And Harold Fannin, this is one of the things that I keep coming back to with Fannin during the pre-draft process is that when you play against Bowling Green, and with due respect to the rest of that roster, everybody knows what the plan is. It was to throw the football to Harold Fannin last season. So you'd think that a defensive coordinator would say, I don't care if I got to put 3 guys on him. Let somebody else besides him beat us. He had 117 catches last year and over 1,500 yards. The guy's production every single week looked like a Madden box score. So the numbers speak for themselves this past year. And whenever you see these guys come down here, and this is one of my favorite parts of the Senior Bowl, they're guys from Bowling Green and North Dakota State and Alabama A&M and Marshall sort of stepping up in terms of the competition level. How do they look? And I'd say Harold Fannin looks like one of the guys. So that's a good sign for where he will end up as an NFL prospect. He's had a really solid week this week, and he catches the crap out of the ball. That much is for sure.
I appreciate the fact that you're judging these prospects on whether or not they can jump higher than you. I did not know that was a piece of the entire thing.
Part of it.
Absolutely. We didn't hear you, though, because the AirPods cut off. That's on us. I'm sure it was a great line. We only have a couple minutes left before the hard out here. How are the kickers and the punters doing? We hitting big balls or no?
Oh, yeah, we had. So at the end of each practice, these coaches have been doing these call-out competition periods. Well, okay, hey, give me an offensive and defensive lineman, give me a running back and a linebacker, see who wins the rep. The final rep of the practice this morning was not a one-on-one. It was a one-on everybody else. As the kicker, Fitzpatrick from Florida State, had to drill a 50-yarder for everybody to avoid push-ups. This thing would have been good from 65, and there was a bit of wind here this morning. So we got a couple Australian punters. As you know, those Aussies are all over FCS punting right now, and these guys have been dropping some bombs this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, not as many going into the NFL as there had been in the past, but hopefully, whatever gets in there is the greatest of the great. We can't thank you enough for making time for us. Enjoy your time down there in Mobile.
All right, guys, have a great week next week in New Orleans. Can't wait to watch.
Are you going to be down there?
I will be. I'm hoping to get down there late in the week, but I'll come over and I don't know. I'll crash the set. You guys have got legitimate A-listers there, but I'll at least come over and watch from the stands.
Vanderfield.
Dan Marino's joining us, but if you show up with those shades, I think you'd get in anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Field Yates.
The rod.
Yeah. See you. Love that. I enjoy. Looking back on my time at the Senior Bowl, that would have been cool to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That guy hits that 50-yarder at
That's
the end.
sweet.
Everyone watching.
That's like a real pressure, too.
Yeah.
That's like a real moment. He hits it good from 65. Good from him. Good for him. I assume that's only going to boost it. Combine for the specialists, obviously a big deal. Senior Bowl happening currently. Royal Rumble happening this weekend. Super Bowl next weekend. Tonight, though, Con Man.
Yeah, massive Pro Bowl games. I mean, this is why we watched. We got dodgeball tonight. We also have the quarterback challenge tonight. I believe there are a few others. I'm not sure if the lineman spike is tonight. It is. The big spike is tonight. I know Ragnow is going to be doing that. There are a bunch of awesome things. It starts at 7. It's on ESPN. I believe it goes till about 8:30. This is just night 1. Night 2/day 2 is on Sunday. The game itself, the flag game, starts at 3. But of course, they have the entire, kind of obstacle course, the great football race, the head-to-head Madden as well will be awesome. Tug of war, a classic, and then perfect punt. That does sound like kind of a cool
punt
little
perfect.
Oh, excuse me, punt perfect, kind of like dude perfect, where they're kind of punting into like a beer pong type 6 cups. But yeah, some absolute dogs. Kyle Juszczyk is punting for the NFC, which is kind of sweet. Marlon Humphrey also, both non-punters. Logan Cook from Jacksonville and Jack Fox, the actual punters for each AFC and NFC. I know dodgeball, there are a few places you can actually place bets on for tonight, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, no big deal.
Hey, Drake May, good dodgeball player, right?
Yeah, Drake May, preseason this year, actually drilled a kid right in the beak.
He's not on the team.
He's not on the team. They don't want anyone to get hurt, and that kind of makes sense, and that's why I wouldn't put Drake May out there. I assume Drake May is going to shatter the quarterback challenge tonight, if I had to guess. Yeah, boom, he is. This is for the trivia game, I believe, the passing the test. That looks pretty
quarterback challenge. Trivia, jeez.
Oh, okay.
You don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I saw trivia. I don't know why trivia is on there.
I believe trivia bases it. How well they do in the trivia is how much time the quarterbacks get in the pass the test.
So Johnny Smith's going to be hooking up Drake May.
Yeah, which is great.
Nico Collins, dog, is going to be helping Joe Burrow. Myles Garrett, big brain, helping and Russell Wilson,
Rivalry.
Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback.
Yeah.
And then Josh Jacobs for Goff, Fred Warner for Sam Darnold, Mike Evans for Baker. Tonight should be a spectacle, to say the least, for the Pro Bowl games. And then we got the Royal Rumble. We'll be back in the next hour. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.
We have an opportunity to give away $75,000 to a kid named Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Damn, Daniel! We don't need that. You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of shoes?
What time?
Hey, a shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
You need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it.
Oh! Whoa!
Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We got to do one more shot.
One more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Let's go. Proud of you, buddy. Hell yeah.
Great job.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. All right.
What just happened? Are you kidding me? It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there.
I know. $600,000 to hurricane relief. $100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley. Way to go, Daniel.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this big Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is wonderful. We're so lucky that we get to talk about it every single day. Tonight, the Pro Bowl games kick off on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern. Should be fun to watch the charades and the horseplay of the NFL's best or the NFL's average. that have been voted in the Pro Bowl because the starters have opted out of these particular things. Should be fun to celebrate the game and the league that we love. Cannot wait to see how all of the players perform, especially in that big old spike as offensive linemen try to put a football through the earth, and then they will measure the amount of power that they have. All starts tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Battaglia is spiking a ball tonight. Dexter Lawrence is spiking a ball tonight. This might be the one. Quinnen Williams is spiking tonight. This might be the one that steals the entire weekend for the Pro Bowl games. Obviously, that's tonight, 7 o'clock on ESPN. The Talks the Tables here at Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt. Ty, I know you've been looking forward to this.
The big spike is maybe the thing that's going to save the Pro Bowl games. I didn't realize we had a proprietary, spike-o-meter as well. So they're pulling out all the stops for this. And then you mentioned it. We got Sexy Dexy. We got Frank Ragnow.
What?
Chris Lindstrom.
He tore his pec, didn't he?
He did.
So he's going to have to be using his left arm, maybe?
Maybe he uses both.
Oh, maybe it's a double-handed.
Yeah, double-handed spike.
Strategy's going to be
maybe it's a
important.
major league situation where it's fixed now and it's so tight that when he spikes, he's going to throw it through the earth.
Oh, Rookie of the Year
Rookie of the Year, that's what I meant.
Yeah, one half of the hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys AP tone. That's the first time I've ever been able to correct somebody on a pop culture reference. I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Gardenhoser and I had a good summer, a couple different ones. Not as good as his friends had when they were building that boat.
Yeah, sure.
But certainly a great movie there. You got to hit that floater at the end. Maybe that's what Ragnow's going to do. Maybe Ragnow's coming in and only needs a 2 on the spike-o-meter, and he decides to throw it up as high as he can and dunk it in there. Joining us now is a man that we wish we could see on the spike-o-meter.
Break it, probably.
Yeah, I don't know how he would handle it. Obviously, I think in the punt perfect, he would do a great job as well. He's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup winner. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
AJ, the spike-o-meter tonight, almost like the spike-o-matic in the entirety. Are you excited for tonight's 7 p.m. Pro Bowl games, pal?
Yeah, I'm very excited. But the first thing I saw, like you guys just mentioned, Frank Ragnow, the torn pec. That dude, I hope he doesn't tear that pec again or figure it out. But I don't know if the big spike is going to be my, the number one thing I'm tuned into. There's a couple others maybe, but yeah, I guess I want to see the technology they invented for this event.
Riddle me this. What are you tuning in for then if it's not the big spike, pal?
Well, was there a 5-legged race I saw on there? I thought there was 3-legged, but was there 5?
That is Sunday.
Yeah,
the great football race is on Sunday.
This is Sunday. Can you go back to tonight's, please? Can you put on tonight's events, please? There we go. You're talking about the relay race. You're talking about the relay race tonight?
Yes. I want to see these guys run.
Yeah, me too, especially if they're going to go for it. They've had these races in the way past. People tried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Recent memory, some try.
Sure.
Micah Parsons became the fastest guy because Tyreek Hill and many others just didn't even try.
Yeah.
Did they not try because they didn't want to get hurt or because they didn't want to lose?
Oh.
If you don't try and you lose, you could say, I didn't try. If you try and you lose, then all of a sudden it's, I guess I'm just slower than everybody else. AFC, Jonathan Taylor, he's going to try. I bet.
He should. I hope so.
I bet he's going to try, if I had to guess.
Everybody is.
Yeah. Happy to see that.
Leader in the clubhouse, it seems.
He's the anchor.
Anchor?
Well, no, he's not. He's leading them off, but you get it.
That's one name, and I can already tell this is probably going to be a laughing stock. I can probably already tell they're not going to give a shit about anything in this.
Well,
that's a bummer that I just see that.
Jared Verse will be cool. He's probably going to be moving.
Yeah, Joey Bosa, he's certainly going to give maximum effort, right?
Yeah, Nick Bosa as well.
Keith Van Noy
is going to bust his ass.
I'm calling Kyle right now.
Keith is going to bust his ass.
Yeah, can we FaceTime Kyle Van Noy, please, just so we can see? If yes, please call him so we can see what the effort level is going to be. Derwin James not going to lose, I don't think, in anything. Buda Baker's not going to lose in anything.
Oh,
Turpin?
Daryl Hodge.
This is Bobby Wagner's first Pro Bowl, right? So he's going to fucking go all out.
Yeah, he certainly is.
I love it.
I'm a little bit worried about this. Patrick Ricard going is good news.
Yeah.
Because he's going to want to seem to be faster than people could imagine because he's always been, probably downplayed on his speed. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, Pro Bowler Kyle Van Noy. Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Keith, what's going on? You guys.
Hey, I also got a special guest with me. Fred Warner.
Hey! Good to see you, Fred. I think we'll see you next week down in Radio Row. We appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir.
We can't wait to see you.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all there.
How's the golf game going, boys? How we doing down there?
Forget him right now. Forget him right now. You got him next week. You get me right now.
Okay. Hey, we're talking about this relay race thing that's happening tonight. What's the effort? What's the effort level going to be on this, Kyle?
Hey, you see how they paired me and Bobby Wagner up against each other? That's the type of effort we're getting. You understand?
How has it been down there?
You see me and Bobby, the elder statesman of the group. They paired us up against each other. You know what type of effort I'm giving you. I'm giving you that championship effort, that just first class effort of just making it to the finish line. That's the type of effort.
Okay, let's not pull anything. Obviously, we are old as shit now after a very, very long season. How has it been down there chit-chatting with everybody, catching up with all the Pro Bowlers?
Honestly, it was dope. I had a great conversation with Mike Evans last night. You know, shout out to the 2014 draft class. That's the homie. We had a good conversation, and it was awesome. It was awesome to let him know how I felt about when he earned his money at the end of the year. I felt like I earned money with him. You know, that's the type of love that the 2014 class had for each other. And it was just awesome to catch up with him, meet his family. Proud of Jonnu Smith, former teammate that ended up getting into the Pro Bowl, broke records this year. So the vibes are high right now. Elite time so far.
Yeah, that is, the Pro Bowl has always had that. Now, the product on the field in the Pro Bowl games certainly can get called into question, but the behind the scenes, everybody mingling is always great. Go ahead, AJ.
Kyle, you ever think of throwing some suggestions out there possibly for the relay race tonight? Maybe you guys have to start, you get a bat and you spin around the bat 5 or 6 times and we watch you guys stumble around and try to figure this thing out?
Louisville Chugger.
Yeah, I think it would be good to mix it in there, you know, maybe throw in a couple other random things like that.
Edward
I like that. The spin around, I like that. Let's see who's got balance, who's got effort and energy after you get dizzy. I like that.
What are you guys? Are you guys going to give a lot of fake energy? Attaboy! A lot of that tonight. Are we doing a lot of attaboy?
Hey, you know me. You're going to be hyping everybody up. You're going to be hyping everybody up. Hey, I love that work, young gun. I love it. I need more, though. I need more. Are you going to Patrick Queen, are you going to let Fred Warner beat you? That's, you got to play the mind game.
Yeah, talk a little shit. I appreciate that. Speaking of talking shit, you guys took Chuck Pagano from us. Congratulations. Do you know him? Aside from talking to him on the program, he's the man.
Hey, honestly, I tweeted at you guys the other day. You guys are 4 for 4 with getting people jobs, getting people paid. We appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Well, we're lucky to do it.
We're honestly happy to have him. You know, he's obviously Harbaugh's guy, but getting to know him a little bit outside of football, just the man he is, he's first class, and to have him in the building just adds that juice. He's got that old school juice, that you need to have in a building. And I think that's something that the Ravens are missing besides Harbaugh, on the staff. We have the young guys. They brought Dean Pease in as a consultant, and now you brought in Chuck Pagano. I mean, the sky's the limit for that group, leading with Nate Wiggins now and Kyle Hamilton, who's an avatar, who's behind us. He's playing golf too. They're too far. But just a great group of guys in the secondary, and we are excited. We're excited to get them in the building, bring that old juice energy up in there.
Have you thought about the Super Bowl much? What are your thoughts? Yeah. All right. Hey, enjoy your day. We appreciate the hell out of you, Pro Bowler, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, Kyle.
So he basically just said him and Bobby. We're gonna do it.
So figured,
We're gonna finish. We're going to finish the race.
We are going to get to the end, aren't we? They did that obstacle course a couple years back, and Myles Garrett broke his foot or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was giving actual effort. Yeah. And it's like we were so close to almost getting effort, and then a guy gets hurt, and everybody goes, see? That's why. And agents are calling going, see? Now his offseason, you know what his offseason is now? Rehab for a broken foot. For what? Was it getting a sack in the playoffs? Was it maybe during the season? Did he hit an escalator, get paid more money? No. It was at the Pro Bowl jumping over a tire. So let's make sure we're not doing that. And that's kind of a part of the problem of it all, AJ.
That is the problem. The more, there's just so much money on the line, and so like the teams. I can imagine if you're a coach and you see one of your players out there giving maximum effort, you're like, hey, I'm very glad that the standard is the standard, but you need to figure, like, you play for whatever team we're on. You don't play for them.
Yeah, and there will be a couple people that get like uber competitive and can't help themselves. Normally it's the younger guys. You know, it is like the younger guys that like feel like they're untouchable and they're, you know, invincible and everything like that. But just like the thought of tonight being awesome feels like a little bit of a pipe dream. But
Expectations. You got to manage them.
yeah, let's look for vibes.
Yeah,
we're going to see a lot of superstars. There's going to be moments that are going to come from it. And let's try and enjoy it that way as opposed to thinking like, yeah, this is going to be high-level competition and all these things.
Well, and like dodgeball is consistently fun. Like that will be a kind of a sweet event no matter what happens because it does get heated and they take it very seriously. And then, of course, too, like the quarterback challenge is awesome. I wish that they did put like an Orlovsky or just a regular average Joe out there to show you how difficult these throws are just because they don't look that hard because the moving targets and all that type of stuff. But I think there's a lot to look forward to. The big spike, I think Ty kind of hit it.
It's the best there is.
It really might steal the show. Like if they spike the shit out of this ball and they have some sort of measurement for like pounds of how much pressure they have, it'd be awesome.
So let's just hope to God, okay, that nobody gets hurt doing the spike-o-meter.
Can you imagine if Ragnow re-tears his pec?
Never going to happen again.
Yeah.
He might.
It'll never happen again. And with Ragnow, with the way he competes, he might see somebody get 700 megameters
Holy shit.
on the
Here we go.
spike-o-meter or whatever. Here's the spike-o-meter down there at Pro Bowl. They're already practicing with it. This is from 2 years ago. That's
1083.
Russell Wilson gets a 1360. Tyrann Mathieu, 1335.
It's going to be sick, dude.
Yeah.
What if someone bounces one back up off their nose and breaks their nose and it bleeds all over?
There's a chance. I guess that's why they got the net around there. To be clear,
baby.
you go to your local state fair, there's a much better setup with the axe than this particular thing.
Yeah, it's a spike-o-meter, though.
Yeah, but
What do you think, Ty? You think the same thing? You still thinking that, Ty? This steals the show?
I think this is a proprietary item, so I think they've probably reworked it a little bit. I would still think that the spike-o-meter is going to steal the show. I think this was kind of just like the
Let's see.
Let's see what the spike-o-meter.
It's 2 years ago.
Look at this. Look at all these. Look at these guys lining up. These guys are waiting 40 minutes to get in on the spike-o-meter. Okay?
Yeah, there is a line out the door.
Yeah.
They said
Just
all
a
the way down in
prototype.
Strip. Cam Jordan got a 907. Okay.
Whoa.
Patrick Mahomes 1386. That's good enough for third place.
Jakeem Grant Sr.? Is that who that is? Wow.
That was a good spike.
Tyreek.
Yeah.
That was a good spike. Yeah.
He's been in the end zone.
Shaq Barrett really brought the hammer down.
I think he missed it.
It better not be like this.
I think he.
What do you mean?
It better not be
sucks.
like
What do you mean?
If this is what it is, this sucks.
No,
this cannot happen.
No way
Frank,
it's gonna be
get out of
this.
this tournament.
No,
We
you
need to
guys-
get bought a Scott. Like the big thing about a
Yeah.
spike is the after. And
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, well, that makes sense, actually.
Come on,
I'm a
guys.
little worried about spike.
No. Don't let this. This
No.
is a prototype.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this. It's
This
gonna
could be a
cooler.
2-minute segment. This would be an hour and a half. This could be a 2-minute segment.
That's Shaq Leonard.
Yeah, it is Shaq Leonard, maniac. Let's see what he does. Go for
Good spike.
yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Shaq. He's got that punch too. You know, he's punching balls out, so he's got explosion.
Power.
He won the spike-o-meter.
He did.
Yeah, by a landslide.
Yeah, by a lot.
Kidding me?
So is it still the same decibels and measurement? What is that? 2001 spike-o-meters?
Yeah. 2,091 pounds of pressure on the spike-o-meter.
Bingo.
So it's like the equivalent of like dropping like a ton from the sky onto the ground.
I go back to that Bargetzi thing. A ton, 2,000 pounds. What's 1,000 pounds?
Half ton.
Okay. None of it makes a lot of sense.
Nah.
Imagine somebody that doesn't watch football. Happens to be in America.
Sure.
Happens upon ESPN tonight. Hey, we got All-Stars, mate. These are the best in the world.
Spike-o-meter.
What are they doing? 2091 on the spike-o-meter. What does that mean?
That has to be visually a lot better.
Yeah,
Have you seen
I hope.
It's gonna.
I'll be honest. I don't remember that from last time they did it.
I
thought it was a new event.
Me too.
It is a new event.
It
That
is.
was just that was like a hey, we're trying something.
It has to be.
2 years of work
Yeah,
since then.
that was a social clip. It
Bingo.
is a brand new event. There's going to be something so much cooler.
Fireworks?
So much cooler.
They
than
might
that.
have like glaze in like a dunk tank, and if
Jay Glazer?
yeah, and if it's like
If you get 2,500 spike-o-meters.
exactly,
There's definitely smoke
it drops
happening.
them in there.
Like once they hit the spot, like when you guys hit the anvil.
Yeah, there needs to be.
Yeah, but that ball needs to.
There might be pyro. There might be pyro out there. We don't know.
Fireworks.
I'm a little worried about Spike of me.
Don't think about the sound.
We shouldn't have watched it.
We shouldn't have.
Yeah, because that was a prototype. It's like we're looking at a BlackBerry thinking that it's going to be an iPhone.
Oh, that was the pilot episode.
Exactly.
BlackBerry Pro.
You don't know how good that was when it had the little rolly ball.
Actually, I am well versed in the BlackBerries. I do know how sweet it is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You're a little bit too young, I think, for the BlackBerry.
No, I'm not. Brickbreaker? Come on. My paw had one, so I messed around on there. I messed around on there from time to time.
Let's talk about some changes the NFL made this year. The kickoff. Okay, remember the new dynamic hybrid kickoff. New kickoff rule stats are coming out now in the season. 57% increase in returns. Average starting field position improved by several yards. The more touchdowns, more returns past the 40-yard line, and a lower injury rate. Overall, positive sign. And if you look at the championship games, I felt like every kickoff was returned.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. Butker has a massive leg. He's able to put the ball out if he wants to. Jake Elliott as well. It should be warm weather. Obviously, perfect climate down there in New Orleans. So maybe it'll just be touchback, touchback, touchback. But in the championship games, when weather wasn't perfect, everybody was kind of forced to return, made the game much more exciting. I enjoyed that it ended up working out because we had a lot of questions going into the season, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is exactly what they wanted, right? They say it's a lower injury rate, and we have 57% increase in returns. I mean, I guess as the season goes, we've seen more and more return, right? Early on, we were seeing a bunch of touchbacks. Is that just due to weather?
I think it's weather and also kickers' legs getting maybe tired, because there was even some teams that were really focusing on this. They were bringing it out from like 1-2 deep. If it was going 4-5 deep, I think it was a guaranteed touchback. But some teams were bringing it out from 2 deep. Some kickers weren't able to get it any deeper than that later in the season because their legs were tired. And then weather obviously has a massive implication. A couple snow globe games, ball's not going into the end zone. Guys are being forced to return it. Strategy was on display. I think if you're Riz and the special teams coordinators that came together and put this together, you're celebrating massive success in keeping the kickoff an actual play for the sport.
Yeah, I agree. It was awesome this year, and hopefully they make that one little change that we talked about in the beginning of the year. That would make a huge difference on if they bring it out or not. But Nico Remigio, Chiefs punt return or kick return, he brought one out from like 8 deep this weekend. So
and that's Tobe, who prides himself on having a great special teams unit, as does Philadelphia. Any teams that have depth and are good are normally be good at special teams. Coach Riz obviously becomes the interim head coach of the Saints. Going into the year, the only thing anybody knew him for is being the guy who kind of pieced together this new dynamic kickoff, taking some stuff from the XFL, adding some stuff from special teams practices, which is where this all began, so you can save guys' legs. And then inevitably, we get something that adds more exciting plays. Congrats to everybody. Not an easy decision to do something like that, especially with how stupid it looked at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and it wasn't a kickoff, but I mean, if you even just think about the last time the Eagles and the Chiefs played in the Super Bowl, that Kadarius Toney punt return, it kind of swung the entire game. That kind of got the Chiefs back into the football game.
AJ, we thought it had no chance. We thought the kickoff was going to be over. We thought it was going to be a 4th and 25 or whatever on the other 25 to kind of start drives. Now it feels like the kickoff's at least going to stay for a while. I remember beginning of the year, to your point, we weren't seeing many kickoffs returned and everything just looked stupid. And we thought, wow, they're going to have to do something drastically different or they're going to get rid of it. Instead, now we're looking back at the stats. We're saving football, baby. We're saving kickoffs. I love it. Congrats to all parties.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I love it. I don't love it visually. I still think it's kind of awkward and weird. But I do love the fact that the kickoff feels like it's here to stay. Like I felt like going into this season, they're like, well, I don't know. Kickoff feels like it's on its last leg. Like they're ready to get rid of this thing. And so they were just waiting. It felt like they were waiting for reasons to almost get rid of it. So now I think this does a lot. It does to quiet the noise too about player health and all that stuff. It gives another check mark in their box, of the league. Like, hey, we're taking care of these guys.
33-yard extra point looks stupid for a long time.
Yeah.
Now it just kind of looks normal.
You're right. You get used to it. Yeah. You do get used. It is surprising how fast you can get used to something.
Yeah, humans are, by nature, like, for instance, with music, you hear a song one time, it's like, nah. And then whenever they force that song down your throat 50, 60 times, it's like, kind of a bop.
Sounds awesome.
Kind of a bop. And I think, a couple seasons into this, people will be a little bit more used to the awkwardness of the setup. I think players will get used to it. I think coaches will get more used to it. I think there'll be more strategy that'll come about it. And if it continues to go the way it's going with these numbers, I think the NFL is going to be excited to have the electricity of returns remain in the game.
Now they just got to change it so that you don't have to declare if there's an onside kick before you kick it.
I don't know how you do that. How do you do that?
Just don't make them do it.
Yeah, but you got the rest of the team 30 yards away.
Yeah, that is.
I think the kicker sprints down with the ball to where
Sets it
everyone
up.
else is lined up.
Sprints down, sets it up, and goes, ah!
Onside!
Onside.
Yeah, I guess you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, legitimately, I don't know how you wouldn't.
Land it inside.
Is college going to keep it? Is college keeping the real kickoff? Because you go to watch college, they do the old school.
Yeah, but they do fair catching.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
Which
I would imagine dudes are still knocking themselves out in college kickoffs.
I don't love the fair catch on kickoffs.
No.
I don't love that at all. I don't. They need to get rid of that. They need to, just for the good of sport.
Sure.
People can't be watching that, and especially for the good of the players that are out there. You know, like, you got some really good players. There's guys 30 yards away, and they're giving themselves up. It's like, you look soft. You look like you're not an actual football player. That's an embarrassment. If your special teams coach can't draw up something where you catch a kickoff at the 10-yard line and you can't get to the 25 or the 30, maybe you need to fire your special teams coordinator. Maybe you need to go back to the drawing board as opposed to the fair. I don't like it at all. I think it is an embarrassment for football, the fair catch on kickoffs.
Definitely, and it does suck, but because they still have the element of surprise onside kicks, would you keep the fair catch so that they can keep surprise onside kicks?
Yes. I mean, I guess we would do that. But also, surprise onside kicks started dwindling away, too, at the end of this whole thing. Successive onside kicks started dwindling away. There was actually more successful onside kicks this year than I think any of us could have expected.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a couple times when those got to happen, and I think it's because kickers started working on it, but also maybe because they're not working on it defensively as much. You know, you're not having as many hands team reps. You're not doing as much because your kickoff team is all the way down there. It's a very small chance you're going to have to take on an onside kick, so then you don't really rep it or practice it as much. But, yeah, it's impossible to not have to declare because where everybody's standing.
Well, in college, too, with like some of these really good teams who are super deep, you would think like, hey, that's really the only way some of these like 4 or 5 star, underclassmen are getting on the field at all. So like, is that the only way you want to see what you got from them? Is just like, hey, go stand out there. We're gonna fair catch it. So I just want to make sure you're going through the motion. Like some of the like Ohio State, like
they had a Buka out there.
That's what I'm saying. Like they got.
He's a
guys,
great player.
Yeah.
You got him acting like he's scared to return a catch.
Right.
What are we doing?
Makes no sense.
Ryan Day's doing a little media tour. How come he hasn't stopped by our show, AJ? What's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's a good question. We should reach out.
Is he scared to coach?
No, I saw he's on Kelly Clarkson. He did her show.
He was on Fallon.
Was she sitting awkwardly close to
Jim
him?
Fallon, Kelly Clarkson. I don't know if she was or not.
Did he do the Jennifer Hudson?
I don't know if he did that show. The Dan Orlovsky dance down the hall.
Yeah, I hope he did. I don't
think he did that. Did he do that show? How weird would that be? He's like, hey, I'm not dancing down the hall though. I'll come on, but I'm not doing that.
You have to.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
That's the happy place.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet if he just walked super fast straight past the camera though.
Head down.
Yeah.
Santina Morella speed walk.
At the very end, he hits the worm as he gets through the line right into the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a living legend in the Thunderdome, traveling to the great city of Indianapolis, Indiana for the Royal Rumble. We have royalty. Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen of Queens, Stephanie McMahon. You're on camera right now.
Clapping. Woo! Clapping. Woo!
Go on, AJ.
Hey, boy.
And baby AJ.
Okay. Yep, crush it. Lads, Stephanie McMahon.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Our pleasure.
No. We're lucky to have
Yeah.
you,
Thank
Steph.
you.
We are lucky to have great boots. You see these boots?
Oh yeah. Love them.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, those are badass
Those
boots.
ain't shit kickers.
Those are badass boots right there.
Now, which one is Dan?
Dan?
There's a sign about Dan farting
Oh,
outside.
yeah. Yeah, that's Dan Orlovsky. Yeah, he's actually from Connecticut.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, the great state of Connecticut. He's on TV all the time on ESPN. Thank you for making the trip. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, Royal Rumble week. Weekend. We were trying to describe it earlier. I think Royal Rumble is something that encompasses all wrestling fans, all entertainment fans, because literally anybody can show up. Obviously with Paul, Mr. H, Mr. Levesque, in charge of all the creative. What should we be expecting this weekend? And what are your favorite things about the Royal Rumble?
Oh, well, you're asking me standard fare here, Pat. Yes, the Royal Rumble kicks off the road to WrestleMania. So, as you know, the winner of the men's Royal Rumble match and the winner of the women's Royal Rumble match, they go on to choose the championship that they'd like to compete for at WrestleMania, which, of course, is the granddaddy of them all. The show of shows. I mean, that is the spectacle, and that all starts with the Royal Rumble. So I think, John Cena competing in his last Royal Rumble ever is going to be really meaningful. I'm looking forward to Charlotte Flair's return to the ring. It's been way too long. Lots of surprises that I don't even know about, and if I did, I wouldn't be allowed to say.
No, yeah, you should.
But I don't know, truthfully. I mean, I know some things, but not all things. I was certainly surprised yesterday at the office when Triple H was announced that he was going into the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Mr. H.
Yes, by Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, who were so happy that they were able to pull one over on him. And they got me too. I had absolutely no idea. It was so incredible.
A magical time for the WWE right now.
Yes,
a lot happening.
It is.
Saw you at the Intuit Dome for the Netflix premiere.
Yes.
Big pop for Steph whenever she got put up on.
Hell yeah.
Massive pop for Stephanie McMahon. How proud of you are you of the WWE right now, of Mr. H, and of everything happening with the business?
I couldn't be more proud. And I put out a tweet or a post on X, that morning, because I was just so overwhelmed. I saw the spot, and it made me cry. I mean, I was just so proud. I was in tears. To think about WWE, I mean, when my parents first started trying to promote WWE, we actually had to buy time to get on the air. And you think about how it's progressed, and then how we've been on cable and broadcast, and then ultimately launched one of the first, D2C services, one of the first streaming platforms. It was, Hulu, Netflix, and WWE Network. There may have been a couple other ones, but that's how, it was big. And then we were one of the first to sell our content then to Peacock, and then now to be on Netflix. I mean, we're the first regularly scheduled live program on Netflix. I mean, that's incredible.
Yes, yeah. A lot of pressure. I told Paul
pressure.
I told Paul that. I say, hey, listen, as somebody who is regularly scheduled as live and has relationships with WWE and the NFL, which Netflix has invested billions into both, let's get it right, Paul. Yeah.
So far, I think he is, and it's so funny because I am so proud, but whenever I talk to him and I say how proud I am of him, he always talks about everybody else.
Yes.
Because it's about the team. It's about everyone who brings it together. It's you too, Pat. I mean, every Monday night, and then Netflix is going to have the Royal Rumble internationally. So for the first time ever in almost every country internationally, Royal Rumble will be streaming on one platform. And then, of course, domestically, it's Peacock.
Okay, so let's talk about, you talked about the history of paying time to get it on the air and then all the evolution and the growth of the WWE. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
You've grown up in front of all of our eyes. I've been a WWE fan my entire life. So I feel like
And now I'm an old lady.
No!
I am.
Come on. Younger than ever! Younger than ever!
28 is not old.
Awesome mom, badass business, everything that you, philanthropist, everything you've been a part of. But growing up in the spotlight, I assume, is a bit absurd, especially whenever it involves the wrestling business. Do you stop and think about that ever? Do you get a chance to get away? Have you reset it all? What is it like to be Stephanie McMahon?
So one of the things that I learned when I stepped away is that I'll never get away from WWE, ever. It is a part of who I am. It is what I love. I really did grow up in this business, so it was not unusual to have shoots done at our house. I was in the first ever Saturday Night's Main Event. I went trick-or-treating at Roddy Piper's house, which was actually our house. And he was putting candy, bowling balls, breaking our candy bags. I mean, he was a heel at the time. And I was on that episode with Chip from Kate and Allie. Like, it was just random, right? I did modeling for, the catalog, and I didn't get paid. We didn't have child models at the time. It was like all of the employees' kids. We were just dressed up. I've lived this amazing life with so many opportunities to meet incredible people and be a part of something that's so special that connects people all over the world. And I feel it everywhere I go, and every arena I go to is something that is just so special.
Big pops for Steph everywhere she goes. It's not like that
that's
for everyone.
not necessarily true.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
That is absolutely true. And a lot of people, you just talked about stepping away. A lot of people thought you wanted to get away from it all, and it had been your entire life. Was there a moment where you wanted to get away and then you realized that, like, you're proud, actually, of everything that happened?
I never stopped being proud, ever. I do think I wanted to disappear for a little while. And I kind of did, and it was good for me. I needed it. And now I'm back.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you back. Con Man has a question for you, Steph.
Yes.
Yeah, Steph, as far as like the evolution of the superstars, like you kind of just mentioned, way back with Rowdy Piper and everything like that, and now the things they're doing in the ring are insane. Do you feel like the athleticism is at an all-time high, and can it even go further just because at some point, is there like a stop to it? Yeah, like a too much factor? Like we're talking about Kevin Owens going off of like 8 ladders on Saturday night. Like, can that continue to kind of climb and reset the bar?
Well, I don't want our talent to ever put themselves in danger. Of course, there's a risk to what we do. But I think the athleticism has evolved in all sports. It's not just WWE. When you watch football now, when you watch every different sport, I mean, you see these athletes taking it to another level. When you watch high school athletes now perform, it's at another level. I think it's just the evolution of human beings, and we're going to continue to see that. And yes, I think the athleticism will continue to wow and amaze everybody watching in WWE.
How do you feel about the company's ability to create new superstars? Because there's other wrestling promotions, obviously, that have existed throughout time. I'm not just talking about currently, I'm talking about through time. And the ability to create superstars is something that is very hard for a lot of people to do. WWF, WWE have always been able to do that. Now, obviously, with the Performance Center and with NXT and everything that's been invested in that, how do you feel about the ability to create superstars? And why do you think that is something that this company, your company, has been able to do for so long?
Gosh, I think it's because it all starts with the superstar. It all starts with that talent and that character, because you have to have a reason to care, right? You have to have a reason to care, to watch them in the ring, to want to see them win, to want to boo, to see them lose. You have to care about the character. It's not enough to just have in-ring action. So I think that's something that WWE knows better than anybody. And it's a process. It's working with the talent. It's finding out who they are. It's the vision for the character. It's giving it a try. At NXT, you'll see multiple different, personas sometimes come through, and it's the same person. It's because you're trying different things and seeing how the audience is going to react. And ultimately, it's the audience that chooses what's going to work or what isn't going to work. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin's told plenty of stories about that.
Yeah, Stunning Steve was certainly beautiful.
Or the Ringmaster. The
Ringmaster back in the day was glorious. You're one of the best heels of all time.
Oh.
Did you enjoy that?
Love being a heel.
Yeah.
But thank you. Yes, I hate being a babyface. It's the worst.
Yeah,
the worst.
Love being a heel.
Prefer to be booed. Yeah. Much
Whole
more
life?
preferred.
You felt that way?
Oh, yeah. Even when I was growing up, I always loved the heels. I didn't like cheering for Hogan. It just wasn't.
Well, LA.
But he was the most over ever. But I just, I didn't. I wasn't on the bandwagon.
When did the smack come into play?
The slap? So it was when I became, a character, and obviously when I became a heel. And I don't know what my first slap was, but I remember the advice that I was told, because all the boys were like, you got to lay it in, Steph.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They said, you got to lay it in. It's got to look good. And make sure you don't pop anybody's eardrum. You got to hit them, in a particular spot, but hit them hard. So that's how the slap kind of started.
Yeah, you lay it in there.
I think, it was like Foley, I think. Jericho, I remember one time, DX was holding Jericho. I forget the storyline, but I was going over to slap Chris, and he winced. And all the guys thought it was so funny, and they made me wait and let him wince. And then they had me slap him. It was really funny.
How are your relationships with, I don't want to say ex-talent, but OGs of the WWF? Because obviously there is situations that happen with superstars. I think it happens in any business. definitely in a business where there's a lot of egos, only a certain amount of spots, a lot of travel, a lot of exhaustions, and a lot of physicality, where people kind of get on the outs with the family, shall we say. Now, in the family, the WWF, the WWE. How have you been able to maintain relationships with people that have been through the WWE? And does it always feel like a reunion every time people come back home? And do you feel a big part of that whenever people come back?
So to answer in reverse order, I don't necessarily feel a big part of it if I wasn't. It is always a big reunion when somebody comes back. And I try to keep, good relationships with everybody. It's if there is a falling out or some particular, negative aspect, that's not what I choose to focus on. And if someone needs to, get over whatever that is, and then, that's their purview.
It feels like the business, everybody takes a break. Not everybody. Michael Cole's been doing this for 28 years straight. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I know. I love Michael Cole.
Me too. What a maniac.
I slapped the crap out of Michael Cole.
You should do that again.
Yeah, amen.
You should do that again.
Ask him about that.
Let's get one of those. Let's get one of those at the Rumble. Ty has a question for you, Steph.
Yeah, Steph, you mentioned, stepping away and how that was great for you. But once you kind of go out there and you get that pop and, people are booing you, and we've talked to so many, superstars who say how intoxicating that is and the adrenaline you get from that. Do you ever miss that aspect of it and wish oh man, I wish I was still doing this on a consistent basis, going out there every single night and getting booed and kind of feeling that rush from a live crowd?
It's a great question. And I think there was a period of time that I, have felt that way. I think there's various periods of time where I felt that way. But honestly, after I wrestled Ronda and Kurt at WrestleMania, it for some reason didn't become my driving force. It was so amazing, that match, and what we were able to the story we were able to tell, what we were able to accomplish, that me being the only non-athlete, it was a tall order for me. And ever since then, I haven't had that craving. Honestly, it's more, how are they going to react? Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, I'm craving them to do this or that. It's more like, ooh, are they going to react at all when I come out? Because I've really only been out WrestleMania, opening the second night of WrestleMania, and then I've been in the crowd. So it's not like I've, really been out in front of everybody.
Great promo at Mania.
Yeah.
Great promo at Mania.
Well, I got to usher in the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era. I mean, it was such a cool moment for me to be able to do that.
How is that? Watching him transition from all these different phases, because I was just a fan, so I've only followed along. I've never asked him or you. I believe it was just a bit for a show that you guys were maybe concocting to happen. Then you fall in love.
That,
you and Mr. H. And then now there's been so many different iterations of you, so many different iterations of him, so many different iterations of the business, kind of watching it all grow. How do you feel about the current state of Mr. H and you guys as a family? Because he's more busy now maybe than ever.
Yeah, he's busier now than ever, but he's happier than ever. He's working so hard, but it's something he actually just talked about at the town hall to all of our employees. I say our, I know it's not our anymore, but to the WWE employees.
Steph, yeah, please.
And I can't get the hour out of my lexicon, but he
you shouldn't.
But he talked about the fun, and how everybody is having, as hard as they work, they're having that much fun, and how important that is. I mean, I think you guys know that better than anybody, right? You can put in all the hours, you can grind away, but if you're having fun, that's where the money is. And then if you're having fun, if our talent are having fun, then the audience is having fun.
Yeah, and it radiates to the screen, I think.
It does. You feel it.
Yeah, and you got to find people that love the business. Like for football, for instance, we talk about all these NFL teams trying to find guys that love ball. Like I feel like in the wrestling business, you find out quickly who loves the business, right? Don't you think?
You do. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because if not, you're not going to make it.
And some people, though, come from different walks of life, but they fall in love with it. And that's where the passion resides. It's like you don't have to have been a fan your whole life. But yeah, if you're a fan, it makes a huge difference.
I think you guys have the most loyal and passionate fans out of any business.
I would say that. I mean, I'm sure other leagues, sports leagues would say differently, but I believe that wholeheartedly.
There's about to be, 65,000 plus?
Maybe 70,
Maybe
yeah.
70,000
more.
here at Royal Rumble. Biggest Royal Rumble attended event happening here.
But I think also because our fans are such a part of our journey, they are the reason for our success, and they are part of making it so successful. So even this move to Netflix, it's like, that's what I put in my post, because it's everybody who's ever been a part of WWE or loved it in some capacity that has gotten us to this place. And our fans know that. They're a part of it. And I think that's kind of what makes it different.
Yeah, you just said our fans again. You should.
I know. I told you. I think
You should keep doing that. It's very natural, and everybody understands it. The fans are a character.
Yes.
And I don't think
absolutely.
that's necessarily something in all sports or any other entertainment business. It's like the fans matter more in wrestling than any other place, and it's a beautiful thing. I was lucky to be a part of the WWE universe. Now get a chance to say dumb things into a microphone in your business. AJ has a question for you, Steph. He's in Ohio.
Yeah, Stephanie, someone that I've been a big fan of for a long time and an absolute great company man for you guys, The Miz. Now, we hear The Miz talk a lot of times. He feels like if he's not forward-facing in some of the posters or some of the promo, he may get a bit excited. Are we expecting to see a nice, a push for The Miz here over the next couple years?
You never know what's going to happen with The Miz. He's very surprising. Comes out of nowhere.
How do you feel about the amount of content, amount of superstars, and trying to keep everybody happy that your business has to do?
I don't think it's possible to keep everybody happy, ever in any capacity. You're always going to have some people who are happy, some people who aren't. But I think the amount of content that is being produced is at a record level. But again, we have such an incredibly talented team. Our production team, being led by Lee Fitting. We have, of course, all of the talent. Everybody's willing to shoot content. Everybody wants to shoot content. And we have more programs and shows now than we ever have before.
And Trailblaze everywhere. Speed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
X was the first one that showed up on it. It's like everything you guys are doing is like trailblazing. Not everything's a home run.
It can't be.
I think everybody would agree with that. But you guys step into the batter's box more than anybody, which I think is why I love your guys' business so much. And also, with how, I don't want to say old the business is, but with how long the business has been around.
Okay, so do you know that really if you position the business, right, and this is something I used to do at all these business conferences when I would talk to the audience, is really it goes all the way back to the days of the Roman Colosseum. And then I say, thank God, we evolved from, with the outcome.
Kill. Yeah, absolutely.
We evolved to scripting the outcome, and that was a good thing.
Smart idea.
But, really, it does go all the way back. It's the oldest form of entertainment, I think, hand-to-hand, man-to-man kind of combat goes along with being a human being, and it's a part of survival, right? And then it evolves over time. Abraham Lincoln
Honest Abe
was a professional wrestler.
peace.
Some historians refute that, and some absolutely support it. And when you think about his style and his promo, if you will, he always talked about people. He told stories. And that is what WWE does better than anybody. And that's what this business does. You tell stories.
Standing at 6'6", wearing a top hat, making him 7'1", out of Illinois, Honest Abe Lincoln. That's good billing for him. But with how
at the carnivals,
which is where this whole thing kind of starts. People talk about Carney and everything like that, and kayfabe and everything like that.
Yep.
The language is a Carney language and the history of it. Everybody, you would think with how big the business has got, billion-dollar deals, it's still family-run business. Always will be. There's only a few people that are making decisions in there. Obviously, your family has been a part of that for as long as any of us can remember it. How has it been to not, take it personal, all the pop shots or all the shots that have been taken at you, your family, everything? Do you try to stay above it? Do you try to stay away from it? Do you try not to see it? How do you kind of engage in all that type of stuff?
So it's been my whole life. And when I was in high school was when my dad was indicted by the federal government. And the media came after my family in a really big and really hard way to deal with when we were in high school. And I think at that time I was filled with a lot of anger and resentment. And I had a hard time, navigating all of that. And I think, now in my later years when all of it seems to happen again, it's, with a little bit of reverence that I can appreciate all of it because it's just noise. People have opinions no matter what, and that's great. And you can think you know exactly what's going on. You can give whatever dirt you think you know, but at the end of the day, I know where I stand, and that's how I have to just be grounded and rooted in who I am and what I believe in, and try to ignore the noise. You know?
And I think that's why people view you the way they do, even if they view your dad or your family differently. I think that's why everybody appreciates the hell out of you. That's why there's big pops every time Steph comes out. We have a graphic here, the Queen of Queens, co-founder of Connor's Cure. Like, the amount of stuff you've given back to the world to make the society better, I think you've felt an onus to do, and you have certainly managed to do and helped to do. Why is that such a big part of what you think the WWE is all about?
Because it's all about our fans, and it is all about giving back. I mean, that's been a part of the ethos of WWE from the very beginning. We were one of the first partners of Make-A-Wish Foundation, over 30 years ago. And our talent were the most requested wishes, out of anybody. And that's really how the relationship started. And it's like, of course, bring this child. Yes, we want to make this wish come true. What more can we do? And that then evolved into Special Olympics, and that evolved into a lot of other partnerships, that we have that are all about giving back. Connor's Cure was founded because of a little boy, named Connor Mahalik, who was impossible not to fall in love with. And I met him at the Royal Rumble. It was after the show. And he was standing there. He was wearing a shirt that was like dragging on the ground. And Justin Roberts, one of our referees, introduced me to him. And he was telling me all about his T-shirts and how Sheamus had just given him this one that was dragging on the floor. And that underneath that, he had a Daniel Bryan T-shirt on, because Daniel Bryan was his T-shirt. And under that, he had a Skylanders T-shirt on. And I was like, oh, buddy. He was just, you could tell he was sick because he had a scar running up the back of his head, and he had a little lump on his head. And you could tell he was sick, but you'd never know it from his personality. I asked him for a hug, and he said no. And I said, why not? And he goes, because I give choke out hugs. And I was like, try me, buddy. And it was the best little hug. And when I stood up, that's when his dad told me, he said, you guys aren't supposed to be back in Pittsburgh until the summer. And this was Royal Rumbles. And he said, and the doctors say that Connor's not going to make it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get over that. And when I said goodbye to Connor, I gave him a little kiss on his cheek. And I'll never forget how soft his cheek was. And then he turned around and he looked at me. And I know this sounds crazy, but I swear our souls touched. And I made an unspoken promise in that moment. And went on the bus that night, because we were on the tour bus, and Paul and I were talking about what we could do. And we invited him to WrestleMania. And we were thinking, give him something to hang on for. And it worked, because hope is really important, and hope really does matter. And his dad said that at WrestleMania, it turns out the doctors told him not to travel. And they said, this will be a disaster, don't travel. His dad did it anyway. And he said it was like he had his little boy back. He could tie his shoes. He could feed himself. He could do all these things. And then his hero, Daniel Bryan, ultimately wins it all at WrestleMania.
Yes-WrestleMania.
And Daniel Bryan came over to him with the championship and said, you did this, and you have to continue your fight. And Connor did for 3 more weeks.
Man.
And then
I'm
he
getting
died.
emotional.
He died in his dad's arms 3 weeks later.
Yeah, little Yinzer kid in Pittsburgh Children's Hospital, obviously, is an powerful one, a great one. We appreciate everything you've done for him. I'm getting emotional. I think we all are. I have an almost 2-year-old. He's got a daughter. He's got 2 kids.
Yeah,
so like,
it makes a difference.
As you tell these stories, we're thinking about it.
But so what
that's
can
what
we do,
WWE
right?
does, though.
That's right. And so there's something we can do. And we galvanized our fan base, and we've raised millions of dollars for kids with cancer. And it also maintains a personal commitment for me. And I'm doing a number of different things outside of the company. So.
Hell yeah, Steph.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Steph. All right, as we all get past the tears of remembering.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry at all.
Great.
We are very lucky that you are doing that and giving back to the world, especially in the city that we are from, Pittsburgh. So we're very grateful. AP Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, with your vast knowledge and wisdom of the business and the company, and now that you're back, do you feel an obligation, or do you have a lot of superstars or people around the business? I mean, Pat talks about every time he comes back, talks about how much of how awesome everyone is, from the superstars to the camera people to everybody. Do you ever feel an obligation to, be a mentor or give advice to any of the superstars or anyone in the business now because of that you've been in all your entire life?
I don't feel an obligation, but I'm more than willing, certainly. And anybody who wants my opinion, I'm happy to give it, But it is true how great everybody is.
Oh, the best.
I mean, just the culture of the company, I think, just hands
got called
down
into
across
question
the
a lot.
board. Yeah.
Got called into question a lot by people that don't know the company. But you're talking about camera people that have been there for like 30 years.
Yes.
You're talking about Nicky and his crew, the production crew's been there for like 25 years. The guy who threw Steve Beers during the Attitude Era, still there right now doing it. It's like everybody is at the top of their profession.
That's right.
And they won't leave. They
and
won't
then
go
think
anywhere else.
about all the life you lived during that time and the challenges, because life kicks everybody around, right? And then the challenges that you have personally in this team that's always there every single week, there for you. And I think that that's just another part of it. It's another part of why it is so special.
I don't want to put you on the spot here, but have you ever given your Mount Rushmore of WWF, WWE superstars?
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, that's way too many.
That'd be
Way too
so
many. It leads
rude.
me to the Hall of Fame,
Yeah. It'd be so rude. But there are a couple different people that have, obviously you mentioned Hulk Hogan earlier.
Yeah,
And LA booed his ass out for...
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Wow. They did.
Maybe he comes back
Good
with the
heat.
NWO.
Does the black and white,
Maybe. But what he was able to do, obviously, alongside Andre and that entire crew, kind of launched the business into something very different. And then Stone Cold, The Rock, that entire Attitude Era, DX, that whole crew, they do what they do. Cena takes the reins, takes it to another. This group takes it to another. Do you view it as different eras, or how do you kind of view the history of the
I think it's appropriate to break it up in eras. I think it helps define it because it is so big and there has been so many special people and special moments. So I think eras work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite era? The Attitude Era? What an insane time to be alive.
The Attitude Era was out of control. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It really was. To be a part of it on the inside and outside, it was, lunacy.
That's where I grew up in. So
Yeah.
I was created in the Attitude Era.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, exactly. In the back, there's a guy named Nicky Skates, massive wrestling fan. He has a question for you, Steph.
Stephanie, what does the future look like for you from the wrestling standpoint, like the business? Like, where do you go from here? You're on Netflix now. You're all over the world. Like, how much further can you guys take this thing? And I know there's been shows in Europe now. Is that the next step? Where are we going next?
So international is a big focus, but again, I'm not an executive at the company right now, so just
Right
just
now? Might be getting
no,
back
and I
in.
don't mean anything by that. I just mean I'm speaking on my own here.
Absolutely.
But international is absolutely a huge focus, and that's one of the reasons why the partnership with Netflix is so important to us. When you think about even NXT and you think about our developmental center in Florida right now, the Performance Center, what if you have those all over the world? What if you can grow sort of mini territories? What if you replicate NXT in different countries all over the world? Ultimately, then what does that do? Aside from a programming standpoint, but then you level that up and how do you then a global world tour where we're competing against ourselves in different countries? What does that look like? I mean, there's one thing about WWE is we've never put a ceiling on anything, and we're limited only by our imagination. So I think that, that's the best answer. But yes, international is a huge focus.
It's the greatest business in the world. I'm so incredibly lucky to be a small, little, tiny part of it. I'm so lucky to be invited back. We will continue this conversation on ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, YouTube, and TikTok Live, still alive. TikTok Live, still bringing it. Still bringing it. We don't know how much longer it will be. Royal Rumble on Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. SmackDown kicks it all off tomorrow from Gainbridge Fieldhouse here in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll continue our chat with royalty, Stephanie McMahon, digitally. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. All right, we got it out.
Yep.
Boom.
We're no longer on ESPN. So if you want to just drop a bunch of motherfuckers.
So, but we didn't promote the ESPN show.
What are you talking about?
My show.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch. That's part of our problem. We'll continue to get better. We'll continue to evolve.
Wouldn't be us if we did.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Shit.
Yikes. That is 100% on us. With that being
I
said,
was going to steer it, but then I wasn't
you should
sure.
have. You should have, Steph. You should have. You can just view this show as your show. Whenever you say our show, just do whatever you need to do. But we are live on ESPN Plus currently.
Yep. Awesome.
And we're live on Disney Plus currently.
Yep.
And YouTube. And I believe that is going to be a few of the homes for a show that you are creating.
That is correct.
And I think this is an announcement that is.
It is in partnership with Omaha Productions and ESPN and WWE. It is a part of the Peyton's Places show, and it is called Stephanie's Places.
Okay.
And I'm going all over the country and hopefully the world to really find out the stories behind the biggest stars in WWE.
I believe we have a sizzle reel for Steph's Places. It has no audio on it, but it is a bunch of the shots. You caught up with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I did.
Got a chance to catch up with Charlotte Flair,
Mhm.
Roman Reigns,
And the whole bloodline, by the way.
down on a yacht down in Florida.
That's sweet.
Hilarious.
Yep.
And it's coming in March. ESPN Original, Stephanie's Places. You know the history of this business through and through. What is the goal of Stephanie's Places?
It's really to tell the stories that haven't been told and to find out more about the people behind the characters. And what I want to do is bring, some type of advice to the audience. Like, these people are all hugely successful, but like most people, they've been knocked around a lot. So how did they overcome the challenges that were put in front of them? How did they get over certain things to become who they are today? And it's really their journey. That's what I'm trying to tell is the story, their journey of how they've gotten to where they are.
Have you enjoyed hosting? Have you enjoyed
I've loved it. So I have to say I was really nervous to do it. Again, it was like my first step back, if you will, into the business. And I was really, really worried about it. And ultimately, it's just been so rewarding to get to hang out with our talent that I know so well on a certain level, but then to get to know them so much better and differently, and again, to bring their stories out. It's interesting because with each person, it's different. In some cases, like I'm the younger person who remembers them as a big star, and how do we do this? And then in other cases, I'm the older person, and I'm trying to pull things out of a younger superstar, and it's no one show is the same. And it's just a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. We can't wait to watch coming in March. Go ahead, Tom.
Did you get to meet Steve's cats? Because this
I did.
office, Poncho.
But he kept running away.
That's Poncho.
Classic Poncho.
I don't like cats.
What?
I don't like cats.
Neither
I'm
do I,
sorry.
but Steve's cats are different.
Well, I know, and that's what he said. He said they were like dogs, and they were great. And I'm not disparaging Steve's cats, but yes, in general, I am not a cat person.
Lefty.
Well, there are cats that are like dogs, though.
They say that. I don't like cats since I'm a kid, and they mess with me. So my husband's sister, she had a cat that was like 22 years old or something, never came out of the closet, but it would just stay there unless I came over, and it would come sit behind me on the sofa. And his sister was like, this never happened. I don't know what.
Sick.
No, they mess with me. They know I don't like them. I was a sophomore in college, and my roommate and I, we had this apartment, the bathroom door wouldn't close all the way. And this cat would come in and perch on the sink when I was taking a shower, and I'd wash my hair like I thought this cat was going to jump over on top of me.
It's coming to say hello.
It was not. It was messing with me, and it knew exactly what it was doing. I was bit by a cat when I was in like daycare. Black cat bit my middle finger. What does that mean?
Well,
I don't know.
So many.
We know what that means. It means you're going to hate cats for the rest of your life.
That's right.
I think is what happened. Okay, before we let you go, you can tell us now. Congratulations, you're going to be in the Rumble this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I am not in the Rumble match. That is.
Whoa.
I'm not in the Rumble match at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't tell us if you were.
Yeah.
Kayfabe. We'll dump it. We won't let anybody hear it. Okay, well, we appreciate the hell out of you. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll wrap up all the stories. Let's celebrate the hell out of Stephanie McMahon and Stephanie's Place.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for making time to stop by. I know it's your first time doing any interviews since stepping down as an executive.
That's right.
At WWE. You came in here and crushed it. We were crying.
Yeah, I did.
Unreal.
Legit.
This is my first time crying in here.
Really?
Definitely.
Oh, so great. I have a credit.
Yeah. I'd say Tone was crying too.
I mean,
so was Ty.
And I didn't even have to slap you to make you cry.
Could have.
Let's keep those. I'll do the Jericho.
Yeah. It's so great. I got to get that footage. Thank you very much for having me. It was an honor.
And the honor is ours.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done for society, for the business, and for us. You're the best. All right, we'll be back on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie McMahon.
Well, nonetheless, as of February 1st, Pat McAfee is officially a contributor with WWE.
Living his dream to be a part of WrestleMania.
I want to see Pat McAfee tonight.
I've been preparing for this my entire life.
Pat McAfee has done it again. It's time to toast the boys and toast the brand. McAfee's wanted to drink beer with Stone Cold forever. Stunner!
There was a point in my life, all I could think about doing was professional wrestling.
McAfee closing in on another WrestleMania victory.
First, we're going to have to get the okays, obviously. And we did from people high up. They were the only people that knew for a while. There was like 3 people that knew in the whole world that was going to potentially be a situation for a little bit.
City of Stars, Boston Connors here. We will be there tonight. Nobody's supposed to know we're here. It's going to be tough. And if you're a man that's only known for wearing tank tops, you kind of got to cover it up.
I didn't see him. Hey, I'm Pat. Nice to meet you.
He's hanging in the back.
One second. Here you go.
I put this on my face. I put some shit. Who's all gonna be in here?
Nobody. This is you until you go out.
Come on, dude. Let's go ahead and take a look around. There's some bunk beds there. There's a shitter and a shower here in the back.
He sat in that bus 6, 7, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours.
I'm telling you that, man, thing. Holy fuck, what a view that's gonna be. Hell yeah. Look at all those fucking people that are gonna be there.
Just waiting, for an opportunity to potentially have a WrestleMania moment.
It's ridiculous. It's awesome. WWE is just like the best at operating. They take care of the non-obvious. So we're very thankful to be here. And tonight should be fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
I think there's like 3 people that know I'm here.
Are we not supposed to come in here?
No, yeah.
All right.
4 now. Look at you.
Won't fucking say a word.
I'll see you at SoFi. You going to be in LA?
I don't know, George. Is it,
It's a loaded question.
George, we don't know, George. You don't know, maybe.
What's up, stud?
Oh, nice.
As soon as I saw George showcase that tight end university tank top, I knew there was a chance old George about to do something special.
Are you kidding me, boys? Welcome to WrestleMania!
The night was getting late. We weren't sure. We didn't know if a moment was going to pop up where maybe my services could be utilized.
I haven't been in a ring since SummerSlam. Okay, like not even in one.
All I wanted was the Miz to have an opportunity to have a match, just a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, good guy. Stand there.
And then the Miz mentions, I sent out an open challenge, and we go,
oh my God.
There it is.
And I put out an open challenge, and no one responded. Why? Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome!
Let's go. Wait a minute. I feel McAfee's here.
I have walked out indoor stadium as a WWE superstar probably 1,000,000 times in my head.
WrestleMania was missing Pat McAfee in the Pat McAfee Show.
And I'm thankful to the WWE Universe that said hello whenever I came out on that massive fucking stage.
By the way, there's only 2 announcers undefeated in WrestleMania history, me and Pat. I can't believe McAfee's here.
Hello, beautiful people.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, Snoop?
You're a legend, dog. You're the best, dog. Hello, Miz. None of us saw this alleged open challenge that you said. But good news.
This is my WrestleMania tank top. If you still would like a match, why don't you let me beat your ass right here, right now?
You all want to see The Miz versus Pat McAfee right here, right now? I'm the host of WrestleMania, and I cannot make matches official.
Miz, I do believe your tiny balls are showing. Tiny balls. Tiny balls. Baby meat as well. There's
80,497
people here. Somebody has to be able to make a match official somewhere.
I am the dog father and the host of WrestleMania, so I feel like I could make that match happen. Right now, we got a ref, we got you, Let's get cracking. I'm out. Let's go.
And McAfee go right after Miz with the right hand, driving Miz back into the corner. Pat McAfee in action. This is a blatant sneak attack. He takes his duties as host of WrestleMania. Oh yes, Buster! Derelict shows up. And check out his tank top though. He's got sparkles on it. You're behind this, aren't you? But no, I had no idea. You said the same thing in the Rumble. I didn't know this guy was showing up. Oh, what a kick by McAfee! Miz.
Hey, baby boss! Baby boss! Tiny meat!
In a $7,000 tuxedo. Yeah, good. George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not sure how wise that was. McAfee's got the official distracted in the ring. Kittle just took out Miz. Kittle telling McAfee to go on top. McAfee heading up to the top rope. And taking out the Miz. Now we're talking. Miz may never win another match. McAfee closing in on another WrestleMania victory. The all-decade punter with a punt to end this thing. Here's your winner, Pat McAfee. A surprise here tonight, and WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
That match was awesome. I had so much fun there. That was a good time. The punt was fucking hilarious. You got a tiny balls champ going.
I had a feeling.
We were sitting here all day. Oh, I wanted to text you earlier. I was told not to text you.
Well, now, of course. Nobody fucking texts
I was
me.
told
Okay,
not to
fake
text
it,
you.
dude.
You had a hell of a show. I'm so thankful to the people at the WWE. It was a super cool night, super cool moment, and I'm very thankful for it all.
5:30 a.m. Sunday. This day started 6:30 a.m. Saturday. So much cool shit happened in between now and then. Joke of an existence. I'm very thankful for everything. Let's go take a nap.
Running back, Noah Whittington. Boom! It's a fullback. Didn't score a touchdown, but what'd he do? He ram truck. Bryquist Brown saws him in half. DB Weston Arthur. Boom! Loses his helmet. But this does not count because it wasn't a player. You see, it was a Ram. The Georgia Ram dog. Listen to that sound. That's not us adding sound. Those are pads crashing. The quarterback, the Ram truck stick. Eric Phoenix. Boom! Weston Arthur will carry over from last week. Mason Fletcher goes for the Browns. Safety, Lathan Ransom. More like Ransom! Ransom! Kobe Savage, the Duck Truck toot, toot. Legal play. Where'd your helmet go?
Wow.
Jonathan Allen. More like Ramothan Allen. A little bit of a low punt, but the players can make play. Let me throw my body. There is a flag on the play, but not on the punter. San Jose State. More like Ram Jose State. Weston Arthur Mount. Boom. Florida. Ole Miss. Gator Ram. Bryce Cohen. 2 people, 1 Ram. Trevor from California. Equipment manager sees a guy steal a ball. Tracks him down through the crowd and boom! Belly to back suplex, bitch! They showed the clip to the team in a team meeting the next day. This is the reaction. Boom play that has been seen by millions. Hey, millions! We have Ram Payne on the campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, running back Jordan James. Damn. John, could you love seeing a running back do something like that?
I do, and I think it's more impressive than a tackle, to be honest. You can't use your hands, you can't scoop the legs, and if you're knocking him ass over teacups, I like the run better than the tackle.
Shiloh, slam there! A nuke! I love Dan Jackson, more like Ram Jackson. Gunner Stockton. Dunzo. Cam Scatterboom. More like Ram Scatterboom. More like you can't tackle me. Rumbling, stumbling. Our reigning champion of this Ram truck segment since jump has been from Mount Union with a Mount Boom. Weston Arthur. Boom! I mean, if you're talking about a Ram truck segment, that epitomizes it. Hey,
Why?
let's go. This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you ping! Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this big Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Football is wonderful. That's AJ Hawk. He's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion. I mean, that's the first time I've ever cried in here with Stephanie McMahon. She absolutely crushed it. So thankful she stopped by with the WWE team. It's always nice to see them. Great people all around. The Talks tip is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. We talk about it a lot. And, anytime we say it into a microphone, I almost feel like we're braggarts. And I don't mean to sound that way. But, anytime we're around WWE people, they're way too nice to us.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I think that is, they put you guys in a video game. But,
Crazy.
they are, to us, they've always been the coolest people, Ty. And we've been around them now, 6-7 years in this entire thing. A lot of wrestling marks leave that out of their comments whenever they bury me for certain different things. It's like this started back with the NXT kickoff panel, all the way back in New Orleans, all the way through doing that, to commentating NXT, to doing some of the panels and kickoff shows for the WWE, to getting to commentate on SmackDown, to now getting to do Raw, to doing some matches. It's like they've been cool to us since the beginning. And it's not just me, it's all of us. And it's absurd every single time.
No, I mean, and very rarely do you do something like we're going to their biggest events of the year where, they have so much shit going on. And a lot of times we're going to places with 10 deep, and it's not easy to just accommodate, oh yeah. And you guys, whatever you need, seriously, we got seats for you. You can go to this area. You can do this. You can do this.
Seats.
It'd be very easy if there are that many people to just be like, Pat, you're good, but get your fucking posse. They can go sit up in the nosebleeds and kind of just be done with it. And they've never done that. at WrestleMania this year, we were sitting behind the Rock's mom. You know, like
Second row.
Yeah,
Nuts.
it's
2
like-
Chainz was right by us.
Exactly.
Titty boy!
Yeah.
Titty
Wale.
boy is right. I mean, it's insane, and it's time and time again. You know,
They're good people. They've been so nice to us. We're incredibly thankful. Obviously, Stephanie and Mr. H have been incredibly kind to me. I started NXT whenever Triple H was running NXT. He has been nothing short of just whenever he was on at the Intuit Dome, I almost got like emotional when he was like, hey, watching you and your guys too from the beginning. I think they feel like they're a part of it, AJ. Like I feel like the WWE people are like, and Michael Cole definitely is like, man, whenever we met to where you are now, like they feel like, hey, the little boy has done pretty good, like and his friends. And that's a cool thing to feel, you know, especially from a company that I've obviously been a fan of my entire life, H.
I told you from the first time I ever went to anything WWE when you were doing NXT back in the day, like from the first, I remember the first time I went down there with you, I was there for we were there, 5, 6, 7 hours. It was during COVID, all the stuff's going on. And I just couldn't believe, like you said, I was like, why? I felt like I was stepping on toes. Like, hey, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing hey. And they were so open. And they're like, yeah, man, whatever you guys need. Like, it was a family. Like, it truly felt like a family atmosphere. And it's always cool to see all the old wrestlers coming back, and they all have a gig, and they all have a place in what they do, and they have so much respect for them. Like, it's a cool, old school type culture, I think, too.
Yeah, I agree. And, when I mentioned getting away, because that happens with everybody in the WWE. Like, you get to a point, we can see it happening publicly with some people maybe, where you get to a point where you forget how good it is and how lucky you are to maybe be working where you are and how pumped you should be. And it's like, that happens in every business, especially in one where you have to travel around. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of this. There's only a certain amount of spots. It's like people get away and then they kind of get refreshed. And then whenever they come back, it's always like, welcome back. It's great to have you. That business has a lot of that. And I think it kind of happens literally for everybody but Michael Cole. Yeah. Michael Cole is the only constant for 28 years. And I'm always like, Cole, don't you think you need a break? He's a break. I take a break, I'm gonna fire my ass. What are you? And I'm like, no. It is kind of one of those things. It's one of those businesses where it can be a lot, but everybody has the same mindset. Let's just do the best shit and let's serve our fans. That's legitimately how they feel. And Royal Rumble being in Indianapolis, and I know Mr. H said this, but I pushed very hard for it for them to come to Indy for a lot of things. Now, certainly, did Nick and Triple H say, and Michael Cole go, oh, you want a home game, huh? Yeah, sure. Everybody wants a home game, Michael Cole in San Antonio the other night, it was said 3 times, I'm from 20 minutes down the road. So, Michael Cole drove home after the thing. So anytime I was promoting, hey, you guys need to come through Indianapolis more. We need bigger shows in Indianapolis. Give us a chance. Indianapolis people are going to show up. They're all like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll stay in Indianapolis. And then what, Louisville? You want Louisville next? And then, we'll go to Chicago too, and then maybe Detroit. You just want us to maybe stay in there. And they were talking shit, obviously, but then whenever I started saying no, I think this place would be a great host because we're a great hosting place. And they I feel like whenever they got the deal done to do it, they were pumped to come tell me hey, we're coming to Indy, man, very excited for it. And that's why this weekend is so damn cool, because I think the crowd that is going to show up for this Royal Rumble is going to be an electrifying crowd. I think they're a crowd that is going to be very thankful that the Royal Rumble is here. And obviously WrestleMania is coming. That was agreed to in the deal. And I think Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam were all deals that were agreed to with the city of Indianapolis. And it's whenever that deal gets done, one of the first calls that Nick and Triple H make is to me, and they're like, hey, man, we got it done. Let's enjoy the hell out of this. And it's this weekend is the first of that. And I'm so lucky and pumped to be a part of it all. I saw you crying over there because the things that WWE has given back to the community too is immense, and it very rarely gets talked about outside of the wrestling fans.
You're right. The Connor Secure thing, I didn't know the story of it. And ever since we've had kids, just a ball of mush. But then Cena's the most of all time for Make-A-Wishes, and he's not the only one. He's just because he has done 1,000 of them. But yeah, all the WWE superstars, they're always with kids. They're always giving back to the community. It's awesome.
Great business.
Yeah.
And you can do anything in the business.
Yeah. Work their asses off. That too.
That's the biggest thing right there, what Connor said. It's all that other stuff, yes, I retweet, but they all work so hard, and you just have to respect that.
Yeah, and you could do anything. I mean, they could put a WWE baseball game together somehow.
Yeah.
And it would work.
Sure.
They would make it work somehow. If you have an idea, they want to hear it. And all right, let's make it happen. You know, whatever. As opposed to like, nah, that can't happen. Which some places are like, you know, I'm not going to point any fingers at anybody.
Most places. Yeah. Most places.
But WWE, you have an idea. They're like, okay,
figure this out.
Let's see.
Sounds like Andy Reid a little bit, like what Coach Andy Reid said yesterday. He'll listen to anyone who has advice. He's not guaranteed to call it, but he'll listen.
Okay, speaking of Andy Reid, do you know on this day 7 years ago, the Chiefs traded Alex Smith to the Washington Redskins in exchange for a third-round pick and cornerback Kendall Fuller. This trade would inevitably lead to Patrick Mahomes becoming the starter for the Kansas City Chiefs. Alex Smith had just got done with his best season of football. Alex Smith started that season by beating the shit out of the New England Patriots on opening night. Then they would lead to a season where they'd be so comfortable with their seeding, they would rest the starters in the final week. Patrick Mahomes, his quarterback out of Texas Tech, would play against the Denver Broncos in the final game of the season. Once again, because they had such a good season, they didn't have to play the last game. It did not matter. That's how great Alex Smith was. Everything they thought Alex Smith could be, he was in this particular season with Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes would beat the Denver Broncos in the final game of the year. Then the Chiefs would not win the Super Bowl. That offseason would start, and what would they do? They'd get rid of Alex Smith after he lives up to the hype and expectation from all the years ago in draft night. And everybody, including us, would say, the hell is Andy Reid doing? Why the fuck would you get rid of Alex Smith whenever he plays his best ball and only going to play even better ball, you assume, going forward in this Andy Reid system? And then we had a caller call into our show from Kansas City go, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the best player to ever play football for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we said, look at this blind loyalty that these people have to the Chiefs and to Andy Reid. Little did we know that everything that was happening in practices and everything happening in that Denver Broncos game was something that they knew was going to become a very consistent level of play. So obviously this day, January 30th, is one that's remembered for a lot of things, I would assume. But the biggest one is that this is when the Patrick Mahomes era began in Kansas City, and you have to give credit to Andy Reid for pulling the trigger and making the decision happen, especially with how good Alex Smith was playing. And the rest, they say, is history, AJ Hawk.
They had to know. Obviously, they did know. They didn't think they knew. They knew what they had in Patrick Mahomes. And I do remember. I mean, I don't know anyone that's like, oh yeah, that's normal that they're trading away Alex Smith. We remember the season that he did have then, but I do remember hearing throughout like different players talk about through camp or whatever, just about Mahomes. Like, hey, I'm just telling you, like this dude he's next. Like they weren't saying get Alex Smith out of here, but they were talking about him, what he does in practice.
Hold on, I got a text from Colquitt, right, the punter?
Yeah.
I think as we were doing our show, we did a full-on, what a stupid decision. And then I got a text from Dustin Colquitt that was like, Bub, this is this is the guy. This is who we want. This is the guy that is going to be great. And wait until you see what this guy's going to become. And what's he become? Oh, well, he's 29 years old. He's a multiple-time Super Bowl champion, and he's already in the conversation of being the greatest of all time.
I also never forget. I want to say clip in the show because I don't know if we had rights yet or not, but there was a preseason game. I can't remember who it was against, but there was multiple throws where he was rolling right and just throwing the ball like 80 yards down the field. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but the day of, none of us.
No, not the day of. No.
Yeah, I appreciate us all going, on day we remember, we were all, I was gobsmacked that they moved on from Alex Smith. And that was at the very beginning of our program. You know, that was at the very beginning of us being doofuses talking about sports. And it's like, boy, has this worked out for them pretty well, I'd say.
Well, and even so, like, they could have known what they had in him and, you know, like, oh, this guy's unbelievable in practice. Like, there's no way that they would have thought, hey, we're going to make this trade and we're going to be at least in the AFC Championship every year for the next 7 years. Like, that's still a pipe dream. So that just speaks to Mahomes too, like how good he actually is. Like there was no fall off ever. It's like he came in and he just continues to win and it's crazy. I don't think anyone could have said they saw that coming.
All right, and more news coming out of Baltimore. Sounds a little bit alarming about Justin Tucker. We will obviously follow along with that. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, a man who's from Dublin, Ireland.
What?
One of the greatest hosts in the history of international travel.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, WWE superstar, Sheamus! All right. Line!
Big son of a bitch.
Yeah!
My neck.
Oh, surprised you had me back after the last time, huh?
You were great.
Yeah.
You were great the last time. That's why we had you on. Sheamus in town for the Royal Rumble. Going to win it this weekend?
That's it, man. The plan. 2012, I won it last time. I'm about due another win, I think.
Yeah, you're about due.
Yeah.
You're about due for another win. How you feeling?
Feel great, yeah. Look at AJ there looking sharp again, man. Fresh cut. Is that a fresh cut, AJ?
Yeah, it's pretty fresh, a day or two, Seamus. I appreciate the vest you gave me as well. I'm picking a great day where I'm going to wear it on a big stage.
He lost that. He threw that thing away.
I was going to say, I haven't seen you wear it. You know what I mean? I'm a bit disappointed.
He said it was shite, Seamus.
What? That's terrible.
Maybe if I get like a renewal of my vows or something really serious. That's all.
That means we're never going to see that thing.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, he has no idea where that thing is, which is a shame. But
oh no,
what
Probably
a time
still on the plane.
It feels like just yesterday we were in Dublin, Ireland together. That was the beginning of the college football season. We just
crazy.
wrapped that up last Monday. The college football season ended. You were almost right with your national championship prediction with Notre Dame, and also you
close.
picked Georgia Tech to beat Florida State.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're a big brain college football guy.
Oh, huge brain college football guy, you know, huge brain. I'm already working my picks for next season.
Yeah, weren't you? He was a mascot.
Yeah, you were Georgia Tech's mascot
in the
for a little
Rambling
bit.
Wreck.
Yeah, I ended up going to a couple of games. They're awesome. The whole team and the facility and all, they're brilliant. Everyone was great. They really welcomed me in. So I think it all stopped though. We went to Syracuse and they lost at Syracuse. So I went to obviously the one in Dublin they won, and then we went to. I went to the one at Georgia Tech when they played Georgia, and then it was after when they lost to Syracuse, I didn't get an invite back. So the lucky charm stuff wore off, you know.
The lucky charm.
The lucky charm stuff. But let's talk about Dublin, man. What a time it was.
Can't wait to go back.
Pat McAfee with his short off, you know, taking the 10 beats at the bar.
The whole world,
disappearing, coming back like a magician.
The whole world saw us over there on the internet having a good time. We're going back.
Oh yeah,
they're taking a lot of football over to Ireland now. The NFL has said that they're going to take a game over there. Another college football game's going over there. I don't want to say it's because of you, but I want to say it's because of you, Sheamus. You need to know that.
I appreciate it. Well, listen, it was a blast, mate. And would we go back to that? Would we have the show over there for the whole week this time? Or
That's a good idea.
I don't think
it's a good idea. It's a great idea, right?
Yeah.
Put it on Paddy's Amex card. He's got one of those black ones.
I
Right? You know what I
don't.
mean?
Listen, it's not the money I'm worried about.
It's the liver.
I don't know if I could survive a week over there. I think we did it right the last time, about 24 hours or so. But we would definitely take the show back over there. I had it great. You were the best host I think we could have ever had in an international trip.
You and the Mahans.
Yeah, and the Mahans over there. Obviously, here's how
They are Mahomes. What were you calling it?
Yeah, Mahans.
Oh yeah,
Mahans.
look at that. Oh, I'm getting homesick watching this.
It's the best.
Yeah, we had a great time over there, man. It feels like just yesterday, but everything kind of flies. Since then, you've signed a new deal with the WWE.
Yep. Yeah, 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I was so many Guinness deep that night that I was actually going to announce it, and they're like, well, I hadn't actually put ink to paper at that stage, but I was just so. Everything about that week was just such a huge hype for me as well.
Ireland was on great display. I think showed up in a big way, and that game was obviously electrifying. Comes down to a game-winning field goal. How do you feel though going into the Rumble? You look like you're in incredible shape right now.
You know, I feel the best I've had in years. I just celebrated birthday Monday, 27.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy belated.
Woo! Man, I'm getting G'd up here big time, man. I'm going to be going in with so much confidence on Saturday. But, yeah, you know, like I just feel like really good. Training's going well, diet's going well. And, you know, I still haven't lost. I think I'd say I'm more passionate now than I've ever been in my entire career. And I had that match with Braun Breaker on Saturday night's main event. That was so close. We had Jesse Ventura calling the shot, saying I was robbed. You know what I mean? But oh, look at that. That was, by the way, spear of the year there, mate. That's the hardest spear I've ever taken in my life from that kid.
Yeah, I think both of you felt that. I was just feet away from there. Your rib would end up being a downfall. You go for a brogue kick later. Something would catch. You wouldn't be able to time it. Braun would take advantage. He'd end up winning and retaining his Intercontinental Championship, the only title you have yet to win in the WWE. Do you have your eyes set on a rematch? Are we all focused on the Royal Rumble? What are you thinking?
What's it, mate? I mean, I think the 29 other men in that match are going to be, if they win, they're going to go after like Cody or Gunther. But when I win that match, I'm going right back after Braun Breaker.
Only title you haven't won yet.
Only title I haven't won. And people have said to me, like, you know, what's the deal? You know, are you going to give up? Like, people say it's an IC course. But that title is one thing I need to be complete and become WWE's first ever Ultimate Grand Slam champion. There's Grand Slam champions, and then there's the Ultimate Grand Slam champion. And that's what I want after 17 years with the company.
Commander Supreme champion.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It's kind of what
he's clapping in there, like he's clapping. He's getting the clap.
Yeah, you got it. That's Zeke. Zeke will give you. Hey, anytime you need to be G'd up, which I don't know what that means, Zeke will help out. Connor has a question for you, Sheamus.
Sheamus, we got a guy in here who's actually doing the workouts that you've been kind of putting yourself through, and he has really transformed over the last few weeks. But what are some of the hardest workouts you've ever done when it comes to your series?
Talking about the Celtic Warrior workout.
Yeah. So actually, I just did one today. That's why I flew in early. I did one with Penta. He's obviously WWE's newest superstar. You've seen him. He's unbelievable, crazy, acrobatic. He's also strong. And throws probably one of the hardest chops in the business. But I did a workout with him. We played handball first, which he killed me at that. And then we had an arm workout. And it's obviously just a quick shout out here. You know, I'm great at giving shout outs on your show here.
Yeah, as you should, yeah. Give the rub there, get fit, athletic.
But the hardest one I think so far has been the one with Maxine Dupree. It landed about 2 weeks ago.
Saw that.
It was Pilates, and I got turned into a human pretzel, man. Like there's some shady pictures out there, you know, with two women just kind of bending me out. It looks weird, dude. But I needed a couple weeks off after that one.
What is it? Celtic Warrior workouts?
Yeah, my YouTube channel, Celtic Warrior Workouts. And when are you going to be on, by the way?
I got to start working out first. Let me figure out my workout first, and then we'll do.
You're saying that for the last year.
You do other people's workouts, right?
That's right, and I'll do yours. We could do it here.
I don't have
everybody go in. We could have like a full-on bleeding aerobics class. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. The headbands. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jazzercise. I'm in. Yeah, maybe we do Hawker's workout.
Yeah.
Maybe we do AJ Hawk's.
Tybo. Billy Blank's Tybo. We should do that. I don't know if Sheamus got that across the pond. You know Billy Blank's?
I don't know.
Double time go. You don't remember?
You don't know.
Wow, you're a workout expert. You don't know Billy Blank.
Oh, boy.
I'm never big on the Tybo there, AJ. Sorry.
You need to pick up.
Yeah, me either.
What's your mindset going into the Rumble? You just got to stay on the ground. Why doesn't anybody just go in there and just lay down?
Yeah.
That's great.
Can you tie yourself? Can you tie yourself to?
Try that, please. Try that.
Lay down. Hold on to that bottom rope.
Yep.
Just like this. Boom and bang, and just hang on that bottom rope.
For real.
Just think about it. Just something to think. I know it's not really your style. You like to fight.
I do.
And you like to create banger
After banger. After banger. After banger.
But if you hang on and hang on and hang on and then wait for the banger at the end, I think your final two, no matter what. Something to think about.
That's a good plan. You know, I can't believe I didn't think about that.
Boom.
I do like the
You're
fight.
welcome.
Have fun getting that title.
Not only you cheat up, you're also IQ'd up all of a sudden.
I'd say if I was Bronson Reed or Otis, that would be an even better one, or even Bronson.
What are you saying about those guys?
I'm saying they're big guys.
Okay.
I'm saying they're big. They're big, heavy lifters.
Bronson Reed broke both of his ankles, right?
He did.
Doing the tsunami off the top.
So is he in there? Or?
Huh?
No.
I don't think he's going to
Yeah,
be
they're
back.
wheeled.
Yeah.
Bronson, T's and P's, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine the amount of force that was coming down.
Snapped like chicken bones.
Boom. Just like he's going to be back bigger, stronger, faster than ever. We assume that. The tsunami is certainly lethal. And
I love working him. That splash, I've taken that a couple of times. I thought the first time I took that move, the tsunami, like the splash off the top, I literally thought my neck was. Did you ever see those those packets like with the kind of like the fruit packets they give the kids and stuff?
Yeah.
I felt like one of them. I thought my head was going to literally pop off my body and fly into.
Have you ever taken a Nia Jax Annihilator?
No, I haven't actually.
That one? No, I've not. But I saw Rhea take one the other night, and she was facing Dahn.
Yeah.
So she had it on her back. I thought she snapped her spine.
Oh.
Legitimately thought she snapped her spine. Instead, she got up, picked up Nia, did the entire dance. What is the key to a Royal Rumble victory, though? 2012, why do you think you won that one?
I mean, the plans,
Got to get lucky?
Plans for there's definitely a bit of luck in there. It's obviously what number you come in at as well. I think the one 2 years ago, my last Rumble, before I got hurt, I was me and Gunter were number one and number two, and it was a slugfest. Especially when Otis came in, or not Otis, Omos came in. Sorry, the Giant, and clothesline me, Drew, and Gunter in the face, and we're lying on the ground just looking at each other, just contemplating life. Going, that's kind of why they call him a Giant. You want to talk about the hardest hitter? Omos, 100%.
How long you been in business now?
20 years wrestling, 17 years, going on 18 years with the WWE. That's including developmental, like the NXT at the time, which was FCW. And June 30th will be 16 years on the main roster.
Okay, that's amazing. Congratulations. You should be incredibly proud of the durability, sustainability, and an ability to remain relevant long enough for that to matter. I think I saw you take a clothesline from hell on a cut up the other day from JBL. But these Royal Rumbles, there's like a nostalgia effect that happens. You've wrestled against a lot of these guys that come back in here.
Yeah, man, I was in there when I first started the first year. I was in there like doing 6-man tags on live events. It was me, Randy. I think it was Big Show, and then we're taking on like Taker, Shawn, and Cena. And I remember Shawn Michaels had this thing on Sundays. We do a Saturday live event Sunday, and it was like Shawn doesn't bump on Sundays. That was his thing, you know. It's homage to his his faith.
Jesus rest on Sundays.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like Chick-fil-A.
Shawn Michaels would never bump on Sundays. That's how far back, man. You know what I mean? Like they were all in the ring. They're all WrestleMania 26, my first WrestleMania against Triple H. The most nervous I've ever been in my life, I think. And then, you know, you had Taker, Shawn in there as well. And so many other guys. Just so many talent that have come and gone in my time here. It's great. And I love working with the younger talent now, you know? It's great, great crack.
Beating the shit out of them.
Yeah, it's beating the shit out of them.
Teach them.
Shite out of them all, you know?
Yeah,
Look,
they're shite.
Bring them all, fella. I'm ready for Saturday. You got me hyped for Saturday now.
Let's go. Yeah, we're going to win.
Yeah.
Of course we're going to win.
Nobody's
Are you going to be there calling it? You're going to be there calling. There you go, mate. You got the buzzwords, mate. You know, it fires me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fight night, baby. Yes.
You're going against Braun Breaker the other night. Braun Breaker's my dog. Yeah. You know, that was kind of a tough thing for me to kind of be split. Just the body was kind of burying the Steiner family as a whole. So I felt obligated to kind of go to bat for my guy, Braun, as the body was kind of doing his thing. I saw you take a photo with him afterwards. Did he come and tell you got screwed? You got robbed?
Yeah, he did.
You got robbed.
It was a down moment for me, man. I don't know how many shots I've had the IC title, but I thought it was so close, especially after that brogue. And yeah, of course, you just got to pick yourself back up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not about...
Like you did the next day at College Game Day. By the way, the next day, right, College Game Day, after all this, I turned up fresh as a daisy, and he was just like, I could see it, man.
Dude, 3 hours we did. I
could see the pain in his face.
I completely forgot about that next day.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was kind of my problem.
Yeah.
I was kind of caught up in the moment. You know, I wanted to go banger
after banger after banger after banger.
I forgot about the day after all this.
That's the thing, though. When you're out in Dublin, right, and you're drinking, that's what me and the lads used to do. Be like, there is no tomorrow. You know that Rocky.
Exactly.
There is no. You don't think about tomorrow. You just think about that pint that's in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we did.
Yeah,
and if we go back, I assume it'll be the same exact story.
Without a doubt.
Sheamus, we appreciate you stopping by, man.
I appreciate the call earlier on. I appreciate having me on the show.
Do you want to do a giveaway?
Ooh.
I don't know what...
take down Connor.
I don't know what I'm
take down
my
Connor.
back hurts just from him grabbing my fucking neck.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, he'll come over to me.
I'm excited to see you, Connor.
I'm excited to see you,
We went through war together. We went to hell together, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
How about after his matches, he's like the most sweaty guy I've ever seen in my life.
Sure,
I also sweat a lot. I am too Irish lad. He'll come over to the commentary table, and I have no idea what's happening. I'm either getting punched in the face right now, I could get kicked in the face, or I'm getting a massive hug that's about to just drench me.
Yep.
Normally, it's a hug with a grab. You're an aggressive lover, I think people will say. And I want to let you know we appreciate every second of it. Yeah, here's a moment here. Yeah, obviously. Whoa, okay, spill my drink. Hey, yeah, love you. Headlock. Cole, how you doing? We had no idea that was happening. Obviously.
That was burger after burger, Sheamus, right there. Yeah. That was 274.
Yeah, you just spilled my entire. I mean, you see,
yeah,
the drink everywhere on the side there. But I want to let you know, everybody that's ever been around you loves you, Sheamus.
I love you guys too. I appreciate that. And anytime in Indy, I love popping up and saying hello to y'all guys. And hopefully we can make Dublin happen again.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we'll.
Okay, what American sport do you think you're potentially best at? Can you throw a football?
I'm not the greatest thrower.
Okay.
Football. I'm not going to I play football. You know, like proper football, soccer.
We have a hurl in here, don't we? Still?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the ball.
Yeah, the ball right here, right?
Bone said he could take him down.
This one.
Where is he?
There it is.
Oh yeah, you should try that.
I don't know.
It's all right, man. I'll demo this place a little bit. I'll bring a bit more light into the place. It'll be grand.
No, but we need this here.
Make a putt. Maybe putt.
Can you putt? Golf?
I'm just a.
Can you make one putt?
I could try.
All right, yeah, let's do that.
boom.
Let's do that. Yes, sir. That would be the easiest.
He can make a putt for sure.
Yeah, you can make a putt.
Definitely can make it.
Could always have him spear Debo like Braun did.
I'll watch that.
It fell out of the pack now too. You just look.
You are significantly more jacked than the last time.
Yeah, good to see you.
Well, like Guinness, maybe changed my life.
You're welcome.
You're gonna be down here, Sheamus. All right. All you have to do is just make one putt into that hole. Okay.
What does that mean? What do I get for that?
30 people will win $500.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You can do
This is not just for you. 30 people will win $500 if Sheamus. You got seven.
Yeah.
The Celtic Warrior, Sheamus, trying to win 30 people, $500.
Oh,
okay. All right.
Good aggressive line. I like it.
Aggressive line.
Yeah, it is very aggressive.
Yeah.
Once again, he came fresh out of a workout, so he's all jacked up. 30 people, 500.
Oh!
It is
He's trying to
makeable.
jam it in there.
This is not. He is trying to jam it in there, says AJ Hawk. 30 people win. 30 people, $500 if Sheamus is able to.
Oh.
You're getting there, bud.
Speed.
You're getting there, buddy.
Speed.
It's like a death threat off these 30 people.
All Sheamus is going to have to do is put one golf ball into a hole and 30 people. Oh. You're getting better, though. Don't you think?
Edges out here.
You got
He's
this.
not leaving any short.
Take it. You got this.
30 people, $500 if Sheamus is able to bury the. No, that's not a good one. Yeah.
Yanked it.
I tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
Take a breather,
not leaving
Sheamus.
anything
Give
short.
yourself. Take a second.
Sheamus, take a
Slow
breath.
down. Take a breath. Brother.
Gumpy wants you to take a breath for a second. Gumpy wants you to just kind of inhale.
Take it in.
Visualize the putt. He's in the back. All you got to do is just put that ball into that tiny little hole over there.
I know what
Yeah, I know. I get the gimmick. 50
hours ago,
50 people. Hey, 50 people. Listen, you're on the spot is where you're supposed to be. This is something you'll be able to do.
Come on.
50 people will win $500.
I heard you the first time, yeah? That doesn't actually.
60 people, $500. All you gotta do is make one putt here. Sheamus!
Oh shit!
Oh. It all comes down to this. We had banger after banger after banger after banger. Can we get a putt that goes into the hole? 60 people will win 5. No, we can't.
Curl.
All right, we got the Royal Rumble on.
Here's wins coming Saturday.
Yeah. Save it for Saturday.
Your wins coming Saturday, brother.
Yeah, that's not a reflection of what's happened on Saturday.
Bingo.
No, it is. Power.
Fire.
So much power.
Blasted.
All right.
All right. That's it.
Yeah, it
I'll
is.
see you later.
You're gonna throw 7 guys over the top rope one.
All right. Hey, hold on, Sheamus. Don't leave yet. To all the boys in the back, great work today, boys.
Great work.
To the WWE crews that is here, we appreciate the hell out of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Stephanie McMahon, phenomenal work. And to Sheamus, thank you for stopping by and lifting our spirits and our hopes for a great Royal Rumble weekend here in Indianapolis, Indiana. To all the people that watch along and allow us to do this for a living, we can't thank you enough. You're the greatest people on earth. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me.
Put it out. Like,
Hey, we don't set the bar.
there you go.
We are the bar.
And we went to a lot of bars.
Yeah.
And they were all great time.
And to AJ, who one day wear that vest I gave him.
One day.
Yes, I will.
Day.
Yes, I will, Sheamus.
I gotta get out of your way. You're sitting. You see this camera? You see you're behind it. Can you sit up a little bit? Yep, there we go.
There you go.
There we go.
I'm a leaner. It's true.
Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Team.
Goodbye.